my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Keep it bright till the break of dawn. Don't be sad if I am gone. Just bury me with my boots on. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Be it gun or be it rope, be it free from pain, I hope. And if it be when I am old, just bury me with my boots on. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. This is where I was born and raised. This is where I'll end my days. And Jesus lays me in my grave. I pray that I'll be saved, and that I lived in a way that makes those around me proud to say, when I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Don't be sad if I am gone. Just burn that fire till the wood's all gone.
Welcome to the EdgeStream, the edgiest live show I know. The following show is a satire, and all characters appearing are fictitious in nature. Any resemblance to real persons living or dead are purely coincidental. Narcs are not welcome. Viewer suicide is advised.
I heard the fuck boys they wanna. I finished up I guess the niggas heard that I'm edgy. I guess they all heard that I'm edgy.
You edgy. You're now tuned in to the edgiest guy I know.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the EdgeStream. It's good to be back, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. Things are getting fucking crazy out there. They're coming after everybody, it seems. They're coming after everybody. Jeremy McKenzie, arrested, gagged, bound. They're trying to silence him. Randy Hillier. They're coming after everyone. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they have been pulling a January 6th type inquisition on everybody that was possibly involved in the Freedom Convoy. I thought we were over it. I thought they were trying to bury that in the memory hole of history to cover up how disgraceful the police acted. But no, apparently they're trying to dig up old corpses, and they're trying to go after everybody. You know, there's a friggin' war in Ukraine. I don't know what they're thinking. But anyways, I'm here with my co-host tonight, my guest co-host, Anon number 1489. How are you doing, Anon?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, Edgy. Glad to be on the show.
Awesome, awesome. Now, we are also live on Entropy right now, so it looks like Entropy is working tonight. Okay, good. We've had some problems with Entropy in the past, so yes, we'll be reading what's going on Entropy. Al Stern is there. He says, yeah, boy, got the Entropy back. Let's fucking go. Yes. Yes, entropy is where you could say all the forbidden words because there's no censorship there. And yeah, you could give donations that big tech does not skim like 50% off the top like they do on YouTube. So if you want to give a donation, go there and do it, and I'll read it. If you have any questions or any comments there for me, just at me on entropy, and I'll read comments on YouTube too, but definitely focus a bit more on entropy. But yeah, it's good to see some friendly faces in the chat. Patton, good to see you. Quick Dub, Political Puppet Theater, Doug as usual. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, what are we going to talk about today? So yeah, we have the arrests of raging dissident Jeremy McKenzie, your good friend, and the conditions they try to put upon him for his bail release, and the conditions that they ended up being able to put upon him on what he is and what he is not allowed to say. It's pretty crazy. And I'm starting to realize that this is how they get us, right? They don't have Bill C-10 or Bill C-36, the horrendous freedom destroying anti-free speech bills. They don't have those passed yet. So in the meantime, they're going to use gag orders and just a whole shit ton of lawfare in order to, bog everybody down and to stop people from talking to each other, to stop people from saying what they want to online. That's how they're going to do it, with gag orders. Up until they get their censorship bill where they can just unperson you, they're going to use gag orders. And of course, Randy Hillier, the sitting MPP, what is it, like, he's got 9 charges against him? All things that, like, no normal person would even understand what they are when you hear about them. Like, counseling to do mischief, or obstruction of a something, and 9 of them. And when we look into them and see what kind of evidence they have for them, it's pretty shaky. Man, this is a political witch hunt, 100%. So we'll be looking into that. Also, a couple other things like the censorship that they're trying to bring up against anything that they consider Russian misinformation. I believe it's the foreign policy minister, Melanie Joly. She says she wants to censor online propaganda in the sense that she wants to shut down anything they consider Russian disinformation. So it seems like she's trying to put in some kind of legislation to, they've already censored RT, Russia Today, from the CRTC. And it sounds like it's going in tandem with something like Bill C-10, where they want to control what you can see on Canadian television, right? They put it in the guise of, we want people to, we want Canadian content to flourish. That's how they present it. But now you know that Bill C-10, part of what they could do is to decide what is Canadian content and what is not. So I think that's how censorship is going to be enacted with something like Bill C-10, to get rid of those pesky foreign opinions. Literally the other side of a war that we are being just absolutely emotionally and mentally manipulated into. So anything besides the current narrative on a war is obviously foreign intervention and Russian misinformation. And they're going to try to squash things like that with Bill C-10. Meanwhile, once they push through Bill C-36, then that's what they'll use to quash all of the patriots at home's free speech and cancel all the dissidents once and for all. So what do you think about that? Melanie Joly, I believe she's our, foreign policy minister. And she says she wants to censor online propaganda. Let's pull that up quick.
Well, it's like, heaven forbid somebody have a different opinion about the crisis in Ukraine than what the government and NATO and all of these Western allied countries are, putting out there, right?
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. So Says Canada needs wartime censorship of internet, says Melanie Joly. And her mandate as the Canadian Foreign Policy Minister is really to counter propaganda online. Now, is it?
She looks like she could have been the minister of stripping, because that's what she looks like she did before she was involved in politics.
I mean, yeah, a lot of these politicians have some really sketchy backgrounds, it seems. Or at least they have unqualified backgrounds. You know, you got a drama teacher, you got a stripper. Uh, I don't know what Christina Freeland was on before
Christia
this.
Freeland was a journalist, and Patty Hydu was literally a graphic designer at like some marketing company. And it's like, you can't go from being a graphic designer to being the minister of health or whatever the fuck she was last time. I think now she's like the minister of Indigenous Affairs. But even that, it's
All
like,
right.
what
Well,
the fuck?
Well, when these positions are meant for you to just be a puppet and to do the bidding of the donors and the people who are really on top, then these qualifications do make sense because they are going to be very likely to be obedient, subservient, and all those things. And dumb as a rock when it comes to free thinking or, you know, critical thinking in any sort of way. So, good on them for that. They've got that in the bag. Yeah, Russian disinformation. Now, here's another example of what they're going through with that. I figured out finally how to get back on to all these websites with the paywalls. I found the proper extension, so now we could read the Globe and Mail again. We're glad of that. So it says, students launch petition against University of Montreal professor over comments supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, literally all this was like 2 students received a thing with 175 signatures. So of course that needs to be news. And basically they have a professor, and I looked him up. It's Professor Michael J. Carley of the University of Montreal. And he's got hundreds and hundreds of articles written specifically about the Russia and Ukraine conflicts throughout the whole 20th century. And he's written like multiple books about specific eras within that time span. But none of this matters because it's not the current thing. It's not the proper narrative. So, you know, they're setting up the what do you call it? The petition to get him fired. And that's I guess how they do it. You know, Ricardo Duchesne, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne, an author of multiple great books, including Canada in Decay, where he talks about the demographic decline of European Canadians and how it's manufactured and pushed throughout academia and through the power structures. He got ousted out of his position there at the University in New Brunswick. Even though...
little wrong think.
Yeah, a little wrong think. Nuh-uh, you're out. And it started with some kind of petition or... I think it was actually the teachers that all signed a petition against him. And then the Huffington Post picked it up. And then they just, you know, went on and on with, you know, jerking each other off and writing more articles as more people signed on to it. And then he kind of took a deal to, I guess, to retire early and to not take more shit from all of this. Like, he essentially got ousted from his position. But yeah, now they're going to do it if you have different opinions on geopolitics. So, of course, Russia man bad. You know, we've got to support the Azov battalion, okay? Right? Joe Biden wants you to support the Azov battalion. He wants you to draw swastikas in blood on Ukrainian women that you think are traitors. So
Ukraine go insane. Put a bullet in Putin's brain.
That is a good song. We will be showing some Alex Stein tonight. Alex Stein is the #1 troll, trolling fucking all these city councils with all these different characters, exposing them with, you know, satire. So we'll be watching a bit of that at some point, probably when we take a break. But yeah, This is an example of wartime censorship, right? Before long, we're gonna end up like New Zealand over here with this fucking crazy young global leader. This young global leader, one of the cabinets that Klaus Schwab has penetrated, in his own words. Jacinda Ardern, this person, I guess you could call her,
Horse.
yeah, this horse person. This is what your country will end up with. Will end up like when you don't allow any other opinion.
Information daily. You can trust us as a source of that information. You can also trust the Director General of Health and the Ministry of Health. For that information, do feel free to visit at any time to clarify any rumour you may hear, covid19.govt.nz. Otherwise, dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth. We will provide information frequently.
Oh my God.
We'll share everything we can, everything else you see, a grain of salt. And so I really ask people to focus
The
on
most
that.
egregious example of that appears to be this.
Holy shit, dude.
Right? Yeah, you couldn't make that up.
Like this is
This
like out
is
of
your
1984. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Listen, the government says we are your source of truth. Like oh my God, I can't believe she actually said that.
It's crazy. New Zealand and Australia are fucked. First of all, she is some Freemasonic witch who was one of the young global leaders of the World Economic Forum, just like Justin Trudeau. Just
you
like
know she sucked Klaus real good.
She sucked everything out of him, and I think she lost everything out of her face when she sucked that, because she looks ghoulish.
Oh yeah.
Somebody get this bitch some more adrenochrome, please.
Yeah, it's scat, man.
Right. The horse face look, it's not a good look. Especially when you're trying to be the young, sexy global leader of the world. Now, here's the thing about New Zealand and Australia. Bill Gates was asked, how do we do better on the next pandemic? How do we survive it better? How do we do this and that? And then he said, basically, you just do what Australia did right in the beginning. So, Australia and New Zealand had these fucking camps where you had to go to if you were suspected to have COVID, and they locked everybody down to the point where people were asking on the police on Twitter if they were allowed to go walk their dog. And they said, no, you can't. You just can't go outside and walk your dog.
Yeah, man. Australia got so fucked with the COVID restrictions. I remember seeing a video of a guy who went to a Starbucks that was outside of his 10-kilometer radius or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the radius.
And they the cops just swarmed him. There was 8 cruisers, and they were all fucking seething at the fucking mouth, oh my God, we got him. Somebody who went outside their fucking 10-kilometer radius. And then the guy was with his kid, and his kid's fucking traumatized, you know what I mean? Because his dad's getting arrested and reprimanded for what? For going to Starbucks in his car, just crazy shit that went on there. And just to clarify, it wasn't just if you had COVID that they would send you to the camps. They were even doing it if you were suspected to be a close contact with somebody who had COVID. So there was people who didn't even have COVID, and they were getting ripped away to the camps. And it was often the indigenous people of Australia, which is just so counter to everything that the left, stands for. Normally, you don't think they'd be targeting the indigenous people, but they were going into this one town that was 95% indigenous. Pretty much, you grabbed everyone in the town and dragged them off to these camps. And it's holy shit, dude. You want to talk about colonialism?
Yeah. And I feel like I didn't see anything of those indigenous people. So I'm thinking they don't even have the means to really speak out about it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of small communities in Australia, similar to how there's fly-in reserves here in Canada, where there's only 100, 200 people tops in some of these small towns.
You know what they should have done? They should have just when all the lab coats try to come in, they're like, excuse me, just chuck spears in them. Hey, no, I'm all about indigenous rights. That's where I'm coming from, okay? I don't promote violence. I just promote the ancient art, indigenous art of spear chucking. Okay.
And whatever those Maori, how do you fucking say that? The indigenous people of New Zealand, the Maori people, they do
The
that
ones
like
with the
yell.
sick
They're just
war
like,
chants.
yeah, that's right. They're just like
Yeah, yeah. Let's
screaming
go.
and like foaming at the mouth and shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. Let's get that energy going.
Yeah, pretty based.
Yeah. So let's see if she says anything else stupid that I want to kick her in the teeth for.
Text which originated in Malaysia and has become a viral hoax in Australia and in New Zealand. How irresponsible is it the people that are sharing that news of a lockdown imminent in New Zealand?
Yeah, and look, that's the kind of thing that adds to the anxiety that people feel. So I continue to share the message. New Zealanders must prepare. But do
Oh my
not panic,
goodness,
prepare.
what an accent.
And when you see those messages, remember that unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth. And I really ask people, just visit covid19.govt.nz. It has all of the up-to-date information. And we will continue to provide everything you
Don't
need.
get your info from us.
Right. It's absolutely insane. Ferryman Taliban apparently now in the entropy chat. He's naming them. Oh, he's saying Anita Anand is a lawyer running our military. Stephen Gubo was an eco activist. Yeah, an eco terrorist. So I've heard. He's got some criminal convictions. Though, at this point, I don't know how much weight a criminal conviction has on your moral character, because it seems like if you don't have a criminal conviction, then you are not a moral character at this point. So
with Stephen Gilbert, that guy, he actually climbed the CN Tower, and I don't know, I wasn't really I was pretty young back then, so I wasn't paying attention when he did that. But I would love to know if anyone remembers when that happened. Like, did he actually like free climb it, or was it like he did it with ropes and grapples? Because I read the Wikipedia on it, and it just seems like the cops kind of like let him do it, and it wasn't like that big of a deal. And he hung like a Greenpeace banner from the CN Tower or whatever. Was he actually like free climbing the CN Tower, or did like I don't know? I'd love to learn some more about that from somebody who maybe watched it.
Yeah, maybe someone throw that in the chat, because I would probably think that it was a publicity stunt, and the fact that he's the heritage minister or whatever he is now, that this guy doesn't do things on his own. It's probably very calculated. Or what he did was so stupid that they're like, oh, this guy would be perfect.
Yeah,
what
no
a fucking
shit.
idiot. Yeah, he would go great here.
You can tell though, a guy like Stephen Gilbo, I can't even say his name really. So
Gilbo. But,
Gilbo.
Obviously, you could just say faggot.
Yeah, piece of shit. Anyways, that guy, man, he's the worst kind of person that's involved in Trudeau's cabinet, though, because people like him and Bill Blair are like, you can tell they're smart enough that they know exactly what they're saying. They know exactly how to talk to journalists and dodge the question in such a way, and they know how to.
Yeah, he is a sleaze in that sense.
He's a snake, man. Like him and Bill Blair are fucking snakes. And then you have other people that are just like kind of stupid. Like Chrystia Freeland is fucking, she's a bitch and like she annoys the shit out of me, but she's stupid. Like anyone can watch her, or Patty Hyde and these other people. Like they're stupid.
Well,
and
she's allegedly in rehab right now, so
I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe the drugs that she was taking to make her a little less stupid were taking over, and all the twitches were taking precedent over the benefit that they previously may have had. So
there's something wrong with her, man. Like Chrystia Freeland definitely has like some sort of mental health issue, like extreme anxiety or like something. Because like
I would be anxious too if I was in that.
For sure. But you don't shake like that. Like if you do, it's like, why are you a politician? Like, this is your job. Your job is to go out and speak to the fucking media, to speak to the public, to be in front of cameras all day. Like, and she's the deputy fucking prime minister and minister of finance. So it's like, you should be comfortable. Like, even Marco Mendocino and Patty Hyde and these kind of like second tier cabinet ministers, they know how to talk to the media, and they're not like shaking and fucking twitching around looking like a crackhead. Like, she's fucked.
I agree. Yes. And that's why you don't see as much of her. They don't put her as much front and center. But still, she gets the job done, and she embarrasses everyone. Now, there's a pretty funny comment that I just saw by Alex. And he said, "That's a man that's hung like a miniature horse." And he's talking about Jacinda over here, our good friend from New Zealand. So I think this might be a Michael Obama type situation, if you know what I mean. So you can see the caption in this video already says, "What is that? What is that?" So let's.
Maybe no way to explain it, but I think we should contain it before.
Oh no! Oh no no no! Shit.
Oh, no, 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 no.
It's too late. I found a thing under the pile of clothes in your room. What is that thing?
Bro! You forgot to Tucker Carlson that thing. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
May never identify it. Maybe no way to explain.
So is the caption there? Can Jenna explain this swinging variant? I think because she talked about a swinging variant or something. My guess is schlongacron. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't know what I'd say that would be funnier than that. So good for her.
It's a brave new world, I guess. Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, I wouldn't even be surprised. You know what I mean? Like seeing stuff like that, like it always fucks with me. Like the whole Michael Obama stuff. Like some of those videos and clips are like insane. It's like, okay, well, what the fuck is that though? Because like, you know, I have a wife. My wife never walks by me and there's a fucking bulge that looks like a little dick and some balls in her fucking, you know, like what the hell, dude?
Yeah, yeah. What is the explanation? Like, hey, if they want to come forward and explain, like, yeah, we do this weird thing where,
Like,
you
what
know,
is she? Is she bleeding so bad that she has like fucking 50 pads shoved up in there? Like, that's the only explanation I can possibly think of.
oh, fuck. Maybe they're on like a hardcore lesbian mode and they've got the strap on ready. They're ready to like. Michelle Obama is ready to just penetrate Barack at any time. I don't know. I think it's a Michael, though. We've all heard the allegations about Obama and Larry Sinclair smoking crack in the back of the limousine. It's true. Look it up. Obama, Larry Sinclair. All right. I think that got a bit derailed. But yes, we did expose the censorship, the wartime censorship, and how the government wants you to only get information from their sources. And you can see that constantly with like the Ukraine-Russia thing. Here's one thing I want to bring up quickly. I brought it up on my last show, but I want to just bounce this off somebody because this is fucked. And this is what Zelensky posted. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. A video where, like, just look at how this starts. This is supposed to be some landmark in Ukraine. And
Добрий вечір всім.
Look at that
Зазвичай в такі
lighting.
дні ми
like, what
говорили,
in the fuck is
прийшла
this?
весна.
Boys, you fucked
А
up the
зараз
lighting.
говоримо, війна прийшла.
This
Але
is
все одно
100%
ми
green
точно
screen
всіх
studio.
переможемо. Тому що ми вільний
Now-
народ і
Man, his
вільне.
voice kills me. It's so fucking it's like I'm talking like this, my fellow countrymen. I am
I am sexy
Zelensky."
Russian. Yes, I'm sexy Russian. You media like me. Yeah.
Oh, the media does like him, dude. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
But the thing about this is he's pretending to be in like a landmark of Ukraine. So it's like this is obviously green screen. I know this right away. And you go and look into the chat, it's all Ukrainian and Russian or whatever. You translate to English, and even they are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you have a few people who are like, oh, yes, you best. you do good, glory Ukraine. But then you get a bit further and it, people start asking questions. Let's see.
Well, because like, okay, as somebody who knows a little bit about,
I do
production
not
of,
want to say anything, but it feels like it is superimposed on the screen.
yeah, for sure. Well,
Right?
because like there would be some sort of shadow. Like, say he did have some lights on the side of the camera facing him, there would be some sort of shadow like of him that you would be able to like visibly see, because like the color too. Like, look at the color of the background. It's very like
It's
green.
just uncanny. It doesn't look this just sets off alarm bells in my head. Also, I was like, okay, well maybe he did do a green screen video here and I'm just not understanding it and they admitted to it. So I looked it up and no, the official fact checkers say that this was not a green screen. He was there and they got a video expert to say that because there's a shadow in this first second right to the bottom right of him, right here.
But the shadow didn't move.
Yeah, this is proof that
Добре.
that it's real. Even the way he walks into it, it just seems fake.
Добрий вечір всім. Зазвичай в такі
This is
дні ми
100% a green
говорили.
screen studio. If you go look at his Instagram, like, what is he doing? He's always there in like some very specific
Fucking
place.
t-shirt. Can I get a Peter Schiff check? Yo, I need a Peter Schiff check up in here. Did you see what Peter Schiff tweeted?
No, what did Peter Schiff do?
Zelensky did his speech in front of the U.S. Congress, and the
Okay.
legendary anti-Bitcoin pro-gold Peter Schiff tweeted,
Okay.
like, basically, this is paraphrasing in a very layman's terms, but he was basically like, why couldn't this guy have put on a fucking suit? Like, you're addressing the U.S. Congress and you couldn't wear a suit, you had to wear a t-shirt. And then he just got like ripped apart by all these pro-Ukraine people. And
I
yeah.
understand times are hard, but doesn't the president of Ukraine own a suit? I don't have much respect for current members of U.S. Congress either, but I still want to address them wearing a t-shirt. I wouldn't want to disrespect the institutions of the United States. Okay.
And everyone just like, he got ratioed super hard, where everyone's just like, look, it's a fucking war zone, man. It's a fucking war.
Yeah, right.
The point is so true. Like, this guy's out there in like a fucking military shirt, like t-shirt, military green, every day trying to like put on this facade and this whole act that he's
Right.
like a war hero and he's in there with the people and he's fighting the fight, and it's like he's not doing anything.
That's why the green shirt, because of like maybe the slight cognitive resemblance to an army shirt.
Oh, for sure, dude. 100%. Like, he's an actor. He knows what he's doing, right? He's playing a part. And then like he'll go and make these speeches, and then the media will be like, wow, that was the most powerful speech since Winston Churchill. Oh, it's just amazing.
Yeah, they cream over him.
Yeah, and it's like the guy's not saying fucking anything. Like, he went in front of the UK and like quoted Shakespeare and said something like "to be or not to be," and like
He's
people are
also
like, wow.
constantly coked up. That's what I've heard, allegedly, is that they have this one specific guy giving him, or like a group associated with this one guy, giving him just cocaine at $150 a gram or something, and they keep him constantly coked up in order to control him more easily.
Dude, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Like,
That's the propaganda that's coming out of Russia, too. Like, there's like a Ukraine defector, like a former Ukraine MP, who's just like, fuck this shit, and he goes to Russian television and he's telling all this shit. And word on the street, apparently, from people like Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill, who's on the ground in Ukraine, says that word on the street is that Zelensky's coked the fuck out, and they do that purposefully because, it helps him. Like, they already have control over him because he's an addict, but it helps them control him. And you see his face twitches, you see the way he acts, everything about him is like manufactured. Like, just look at his Instagram, it's all in like the same area. It's very, and anything he does outside of it seems like it's staged, even to the point where it's green screen.
Well, like you remember the first week, so like he's down there wearing the military helmet and wearing all this shit, and like he's down there with the troops, right? And then they've put out videos in the last couple of weeks where he's like visiting troops in the hospital and all this. And it's like
Right.
this is pathetic, fucking Western style propaganda where they're putting out information like, oh, look at our heroic president down there in the front lines. He's not in the fucking front lines. He went down to like a few trucks with some soldiers and like he's hanging out with them, and like you make it look like he's in the front lines. This guy is going to be fucking gone before the Russians are at his doorstep. He's not going to be like some hero. He's not going to even be Saddam Hussein, dude. Saddam Hussein was literally firing fucking an AK-47 at the American Marines that came to get him at his final stand.
That's pretty based.
Yeah, that guy was an actual fucking like, I'm going down, fighting kind of guy. The Zelensky is a fucking piece of shit puppet, literally a puppet.
A puppet of Kolomoisky. The Pandora Papers exposed that they gave him like $40 million or something. Also, Zelensky is like almost a billionaire. How is that even possible? He's supposedly an actor. What kind of actor has like over $500 million net worth?
Man, I loved watching some of the old clips when Trump just fucking mogged that little short weasel. Like Zelensky's sitting there and Trump just goes on like a 5-minute rant after a media reporter asked a question about how corrupt Ukraine is. It was so good. And like there's like
that's awesome. Clips. I gotta look back at that.
Yeah, there's one clip that only showed Trump. But there was another clip I saw where it's like Zelensky's reaction while Trump was saying how corrupt Ukraine was. And he's just like staring forward, like kind of shaking his head a little bit, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, he's got to manage it between like amongst a Coke bench, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, do I shake my face or do I just do dead stare and disassociate completely?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So I know you brought up Alex Stein before, and Alex Stein is a funny, like a great comedian, and he's been trolling all these different city council meetings, and I've been following him a bit before because he was doing some good interviews with people that I was searching, and then I found him through that, and I'm glad to see him blowing up, and now he's on Tucker Carlson, and it's one of the it's one of the most wholesome Tucker Carlson appearances I've ever seen while being absolutely fucking based. So I'm going to play this at 1.25 speed just to avoid copyright, and I'm going to step out for a second. I'll be right back to be here, but you got to check this out. This guy's fucking hilarious.
It wasn't so long ago
that I'll be right back
too. Texas called Alex Stein started showing up at city council meetings across Texas, but politicians never paid attention to him. He's a citizen, but they were not that interested, so he decided on a new approach. Alex Stein adopted the alter ego, primetime number 99 Alex Stein. He became a lot more voluble, and in the process showed us how unhinged our own leaders have become. Here, for example, is Alex Stein at a recent meeting of the Dallas City Council explaining why mandatory vaccinations are essential.
We got to mandate vaccines because right now I am losing housekeepers left and right because, listen, every time the service sends a housekeeper to my house and they test positive for coronavirus, I can't have them work around my kids. I have 2 trans kids in my house, both on puberty blockers, and you realize they are vulnerable. They're immunocompromised. We need more people vaccinated.
They thought that was real. Probably a compelling argument, actually. Then Stein went to Richardson, Texas, and tried to convince the city council to start World War III. Watch.
I'm a sergeant in the Ukrainian Foreign Legion, and I'm here today to recruit some of you to go fight in the war in World War III. When you join Ukraine's Foreign Legion, we're going to train you. You don't even need any training. We're going to teach you. As a matter of fact, we'd prefer if you didn't have training because we know somebody that's all messed up. We want to teach you your gun skills. You are a coward, and I'm a hero. This is a hero. You would never know what it's like, Paul, to be like this. You will never know what it's like to be president. You will never know. And you will never fight. And you will be on the wrong side of history. And all you have to do is sign up on this form right now, and you can go fight.
Thank you for your public comments.
Thank you.
Your time is over.
You can watch a lot of those on YouTube. Spend an entire afternoon chuckling and learning. Alex Stein is the host of The Conspiracy Castle with number 99 Alex Stein. We're happy to have him join us for the first time tonight. Alex Stein, it's great to meet you. How did you start doing this?
Tucker, man, it's such a pleasure, but let me tell you something, because we're under constant trauma-based mind control from the media, so what I did is I said, I'm not going to just lay down and let them control my life. So I said, I'm going to go start talking to these politicians. And I was dead serious at first. They disregarded me. When I said I didn't really think the lockdowns were effective, they didn't pay attention. So the crazier I got, I realize that's how you invoke a response. These people are what I call non-playable characters in the video game of life. They don't want to interact with us.
I love
When they get
Tucker's
elected, they think all of a
faces.
sudden we work for them, and that's not the case. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to put a mirror up to the mainstream media and show what the narrative is and how idiotic it is. Because everything I say is just regurgitated from Brian Stelter or Don Lemon and some idiot at CNN. So it's really actually pretty easy doing what I do, Tucker.
What? There's a lot to unpack. I want to go back to the first sentence. What is trauma-based mind control?
Well, it's when you turn on CNN, every single second you're going to see a death scroll. They're going to try to scare you because that's how they control you. They want to keep us in what is called fight or flight. They want everybody scared out of their mind so they can't make a decision. They don't only want us to see 1 inch in front of our face so we can't see the big picture. Because what happens is we have what is called the Mockingbird media. They admit the CIA has liaisons in every single form of our entertainment, from the radio, television, news, and film. So you have a media that will say Hunter Biden's laptop is fake, yet they have to come out 6 months later and say, oh no, that's real. And they're going to give us the crack pipe all day long, yet on that same laptop there's supposedly child pornography on it. And these people don't care. Look at Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's about to be nominated to the Supreme Court. She's easy on child pornography. Do you think that's an accident, Tucker? None of this is done on accident. It is a purposeful destabilization of the middle class, and that's what I am. I'm a middle class person trying to save it, and I'm not here to virtue signal. I'm just saying I'm tired of being tinkled on and the government telling me it's raining.
Well, I agree with that, and you don't need to be a meteorologist to know when you're being tinkled on, I would say.
You
so
really
what,
don't. No.
What's the response? You sort of have, as you watch the city council members, a little bit of contempt because they should know this is they're being played, but you also feel a little sorry for them because they're totally overwhelmed. Like, what do they say to you?
Well, that's the thing is when you go to these meetings, Tucker, a lot of times people are nervous at the podium. I see people talking about how Child Protective Services took their kids or their neighbor's house caught on fire and their house got burned up and nobody's helping them. So people are nervous. So what I try to do is I try to put the heat on them. I want to make the politicians nervous of what I'm going to do. And the reason why is you go out there and all day long the news is going to tell us about the border between Ukraine and Russia. But I'm in Dallas, Texas, and the border between Texas and Mexico right now is just being flooded with sex trafficking, with the Chinese fentanyl that I've had friends and family die of. So the real war is right here in America, yet that this Biden administration wants to just confuse us and make us think that it's a valid excuse to go fight World War III, yet the military-industrial complex just lost a 20-year war in Afghanistan, and now they're chomping at the bit because, Tucker, the reason is our country is not being run by human beings. It's being run by multinational corporations that actually want to destabilize America in order to gain a global control, and that's what's happening. You look at these companies like Halliburton. You just look at all these companies that are destroying America on purpose, in my opinion, Tucker.
So you're not going to be on YouTube long, obviously. So I would just recommend to our audience.
No,
you're not. No, you're not. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Alex Stein. So if you want to catch the art he's already created, do so now. Thanks for joining us tonight, Alex Stein. Good to see you.
Thank you, Tucker. You're a hero. Hey, Tucker, one last thing. Everybody says I'm baby Tucker, so if you're willing to submit to a DNA test and prove you're not my father, I would appreciate that because we're both good looking, we're both funny. We might be related, and you're my hero. Thank you, Tucker, again.
I don't think I'm old enough, but I appreciate the compliment. Alex Stein, thank you. Subscribe to the Fox News.
That's so nice to see.
Yeah.
Like
Respect
he
to
goes
Tucker.
right. He goes on. He gets his spot on Tucker after like putting in the work, going to so many different Zoom, city council, whatever council meetings, doing them in real life. Last stream I showed like some remix songs that people made out of him and his other buddy Cassidy Campbell, the YouTube comedy prankster. Also hilarious dude, based as fuck, Cassidy Campbell. And yeah, he earned a spot. He's blowing up now, and he goes on Tucker and doesn't waste a fucking word.
Yeah.
And he nails the tone of the show too. Like he respects Tucker in the sense that Tucker says what he could probably get away with, right? And this guy knows exactly how to push it, and he gets it all out. And I don't know, it was a
naming
really
the military-industrial complex on Fox.
yeah. This guy's got a head on his shoulders, and I think he's going places beyond this, right? So that was pretty cool. Now, we do got to get into the stuff to do with the political persecution going on here, man. Our good friend, raging dissident, Jeremy McKenzie, thrown in jail on last Tuesday, for protesting outside of the Nova Scotia Health Minister's house.
Dr. Strang.
Dr. Strength. This guy. This fucking, this beacon of health right here, as you could see. Yes.
Yeah, whoever did his cleft palate surgery really fucked up because, like, look at that lip, bro. He looks fucked.
Yeah, I didn't understand what was wrong with it. Now that you say it, that does make a lot of sense.
That's gotta be. If not, then I mean, holy shit, I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
Oof. Big oof, buddy. It's okay. Anyways, let's just get on to the conditions. I don't want to put any words in Range's or Jeremy's mouth here. I know he went through some trials and tribulations, being basically what could be defined as solitary confinement from Tuesday till Friday when he got released. But it's really weird the way that they write things in the media, where the way they translate court documents to mainstream media news outlets. So he was released under these conditions, and both Morgan and him. And it's good to see like a nice couple, sticking with each other, standing strong, and then seeing them together after. It really warms my heart. I'm glad that they're happy together and that they're at least have each other going through this.
A wholesome dissident couple.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking beautiful, to be honest. But anyways, it goes on to say the release conditions are the same for the accused. They must stay away from Dr. Robert Strang and his family, including the suburban Halifax residence where they're accused of staging a protest last weekend. And blah, 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 25 meters of any school or business or medical professional, educational professional, or politician. And they're not to counsel anyone else to protest against people in those three categories, and they must not make any posts about them on social media. So that's the thing where it made me think, does that mean that he can't talk about any education official, health official, or even more so, politicians? Can he not say the name Justin Trudeau on a live stream? Now, from what I understand, he literally can't. But he could make reference to them? It's really insane. So, whatever it is specifically, I'm sure he knows. He's explained it to me, and it literally didn't even make sense to me. It sounded ridiculous. But it'll be funny and interesting seeing him trying to navigate that in future streams. It'll just add an extra element to comedy, to the comedy of it. And guess what? The guy's a fucking comedian. He's an activist and a comedian. So this is right up his wheelhouse. So you just gave him
just start
another...
calling Trudeau Lord Voldemort and shit like
Yeah.
that. Come up with like synonyms for everyone.
Yeah, new synonyms. New synonyms. Achievement unlocked. Right? Of successfully using different names and subverting around that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I could at least see them telling him not to direct people to go protest in front of people's houses and to not mention Dr. Strang or his family. Now, that's what I think they're trying to say, or that's what I thought they were trying to say, and that the separate thing is that he cannot counsel people to go protest in front of any of those types of people's houses. It's all confusing, and it almost seems like these mainstream media news outlets are being purposefully, what do you call it? Obfuscative.
Yeah.
They're being purposely vague about things.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it seem like they're owning these bad guys, these villains, these social villains, right?
This is like, to me, this is on par with I don't know if you remember Tommy Robinson. He got arrested, probably back in like 2015 or 16 because he was outside of a grooming gang trial that was going on, and he was talking about the grooming gangs. And they threw him in jail for like months because he was merely reporting on the grooming gangs. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's like this legalese bullshit where like they're basically taking something that was not a big deal and using it to kind of blow it out of proportion and then silence political dissidents, which is exactly what all of that, what you just went through, is saying. It's like, so Raging Dissident can't talk about politicians. That's what he does. He talks about politicians. And you're trying to shut down anyone who's showing any sort of, dissent towards the political mainstream and the political establishment by having this, kind of gag order, essentially, where it's like, okay, because you were arrested for something, you're gonna now not be able to talk about these issues, and you're not going to be able to talk about politicians and talk about health officials and whatnot, when it's like all it is a way to shut down somebody. It's not that they actually think Rage is going to like go on and say something really scary about, Trudeau or anything like that. This is merely to shut him down so he can't talk about what's just happened to him, basically.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, it's how they get us, and it's like almost like an extra judicial, like it is judicial, and it's part of the law, the process of law, I guess. But it's like a gray area where they could just tack on all these things that are dependent on the situation, and the hysteria can easily add to it, right? So if you have a political landscape where they're trying to shut everything down, like they are with after the Freedom Convoy, where they're desperate to shut down the political dissidents, they could do literally whatever they want when they have some kind of gag order. Like some of the things that he was saying that they were trying to threaten him with, like the restrictions, like he was not allowed to access the internet at all. This is not far off from what has happened before. I remember several years ago, there was a guy who was dealing with a bunch of radical feminists who were all conspiring to shut this guy down because he was calling them out and stuff. And they made it so he couldn't access the internet for years. And then he started exposing, or he found a way to expose that they were all conspiring against him, essentially, in a manner that was illegal. But he was kicked off the internet. So how is he supposed to even defend that in the time being?
Yeah,
these things aren't unprecedented.
And that's the whole point of it, though, too, is that, so we're going to arrest you for something, and then we're going to put a gag order on you, so you can't even talk about the thing you were just arrested for in any way, shape, or form. And that's a way of silencing him being able to tell his side of the story. And it's ultimately about, controlling the narrative. So you even read the CBC article, when he first got arrested, the CBC article basically touched on what happened for like the first two paragraphs, and then just went into a diatribe shitting on him with all of this like leftist propaganda. It's like, well, he did this and this and this, and he done this and this and this, and then just
they also never actually mention why they were there, because they're trying to gaslight the public to think that, oh, all the mandates have been lifted, so these guys are just whining about nothing. They're crazies. They're a bunch of crazies. And it's like, no, Nova Scotia was the only province in Canada where they're still forcing little kids, to wear masks in school for at least 2 more weeks, or otherwise indefinitely.
And the worst part about it is, it would be one thing if like that was the measure they put forward from the start, but no, it was the fucking Friday, and on the Monday the mask mandates were going to be lifted. The Friday, like literally 3 days before, they're all like, okay, all of a sudden we're just going to change that for the kids in school. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Who the fuck?
It's almost like they're trying to bait him, because why Nova Scotia? It seems like it could be.
Yeah,
they saw this coming. I never thought of it like that, but now that you bring it up, they know he's there. They're tracking him everywhere, and they were following him and tracking him probably in the 3 days he was there. They're not unaware of his presence. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And now they're able to pass a new law without any. So they passed. I don't know if it's a provincial or federal law, but now you can't protest in front of any health minister's house. You have to be even further away.
That would have been provincial, I'm pretty sure, because Doug Ford did something similar in Ontario. But I think that they're in the works of coming up with a federal law about that. And like, to what end? Okay, so say it's starts, it's public health officials and education officials or whatever. So then how long until you can't even show up at a politician's house to like get some fucking recourse and get some accountability, because that's what this is about. This is about accountability. You can't just go fucking the civilians of your own country and have no accountability, zero, and no one can ever come and fucking complain to you, and no one can ever say anything or come to your house and try to question you and argue with you about it. No, you have no accountability if you're a public health official, if you're a politician, whatever.
Right.
That's kind of the way they're heading with
Remember back in the day when reporters would come outside of Rob Ford's house?
Right.
And he'd be like, get out of here. Push like the cameraman away.
Well, but the whole thing is like you can't go fucking up people's lives. And like this is what they're doing. They're fucking up people's lives and then have no accountability. And then the cop that showed up on Rage's stream when he was there, it's like, well, why don't you guys write him a letter? And it's like, are you fucking retarded, bro? Yeah, write him a letter so he'll throw it in the fucking garbage before
he'll wipe his ass with it while he's
like,
laughing.
dude, yeah, like these people don't care. They don't care how many fucking people write them letters or write post comments on their social media or what is call them. Like, what the fuck? They don't give a shit about us, man. And that's the whole point. Is like at a certain point, you have to make these people feel as uncomfortable as they're making us feel.
No, you're counseling mischief.
Yeah,
buddy.
well, hey,
we'll get into that after. We'll get into that after. You're counseling mischief, buddy. You're mischievous. You're very mischievous.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing I'm not a non-1488. I dodged.
You're a non-1489. That's
very
your
key.
Name. Okay.
Very key.
Yeah, yes. So I do want to bring something up here. Is that in the Global News article compared to the CBC article? The CBC article makes it sound like he's not allowed to mention anyone who's even a politician on social media, but the Global News article makes it sound completely different. Says the order also prevents the two from posting on social media about Strang and his family and engaging in or canceling anyone to protest against health officials, education professionals, or elected officials. Those now sound like two different things. So what the hell is going on? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very trippy, and I guess from what Rage says is that he's just not allowed to mention politicians. Maybe he's just trying to be safe now overall, but I think they could probably get him for anything at this point. It seems like all bets are off.
Yeah, this is the type of vague legalese where it's very open to interpretation, and with the right judge, they could pretty much get him on anything if he talks even remotely about a politician. So, I mean, I'm glad I'm not in his position and I can talk shit about these people right now, but
right.
God damn, dude. Like this is just, they create these vague laws that are really open to interpretation because then they can use them when they want and when it's convenient for them to fuck people over.
100%. So now, I think we need to address the Randy Hillier situation. So, 9 friggin' charges. Each one more stupid than the last. So Randy Hillier released with many conditions after being charged for freedom convoy activities. So a lot of this article is worth reading. Basically, Randy Hillier was released from court with a long list of conditions after turning himself in to Ottawa police on Monday morning to face 9 criminal charges related to the weeks-long freedom convoy occupation of downtown streets. One of those charges alleges Hillier, a 64-year-old man, encourages numerous social media followers to flood police non-emergency lines during the peak of the demonstration, when Ottawa police were pleading with the public to keep those phone lines open. Now, I did watch parts of the Viva Frey. He's a non-practicing YouTube influencer lawyer, and he's pretty cool. I like him. But he was interviewing Randy Hillier's lawyer, and he seemed to think they seemed to think that the police chief or whoever it was who was saying not to call in on the non-emergency line doesn't really have the jurisdiction or the right to tell people what or what not to do on a non-emergency line. Now, I did not even realize that it was the non-emergency line that he was telling people to call into. I thought at first when I saw the tweet, because of the way it was worded, and the way it looked on first glance was that, oh, is he really telling people to call 911? This is kind of fucked, Randy. But then I was glad to see, the more I looked into it, that that's not what he was doing, despite everybody characterizing it, or not everybody, but all his haters characterizing it as such. No, he was telling them to call into the non-emergency line, where, yeah, you can put in complaints about things that you're seeing that are potentially illegal. Like the way that the police were beating up people, that they were trampling old women with horses. Yeah, I think that is kind of an emergency. But
man, like I called the non-emergency line in my city a million times. Like there was a bunch of homeless people living in a fucking like tree bush area kind of by the railroad tracks. And they were getting high as fuck in there, and there was like parties going on in there with like 10 fucking cracked out meth head homeless people.
Okay, I'm sorry. Next time I'll keep it clean. I get your point though. Anyways, it says Hillier's tweets on February 19 reached his 56,000 followers. And over the next 6 days, the Ottawa Police Service's non-emergency line logged 274 malicious calls. According to an outline on the Crown's case against Hillier, while there was a surge in similar calls to the city's 911 line. So there was a surge. Trust me, it was bad. There was a surge. There was a few guys who got confused. And don't worry, there was a surge, so it was terrible. It was horrible. Everyone was dying.
Well, and the thing that kills me the most about the whole calling 911, like, say it was calling 911, all of the police were downtown Ottawa in their fucking squad cars at night for days. They weren't going to be responding to fucking calls anyways, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here. These cops were down there. Like, you can watch Ottawalks or any of the guys that were live streaming. Go back to their streams. They were around, and all these cops were just sitting in their fucking cruisers all day, all night, doing jack shit. Just sitting there watching people have a good time and, like, protesting and rallying and stuff. So this idea that like they were straining resources, it's like all of your resources were doing jack shit, twiddling their thumbs, you know what I mean? Like
your resources were going into shutting down any business who dared try to keep themselves open, like Adamson's Barbecue or Whistle Stop Cafe. Don't
shit.
even pretend. So I love how they're like, it cost taxpayers $36 million this convoy. 35 million of them being just for the cost of the police. So we literally did almost no damage. And
physical damage.
Damage to their narrative for sure.
But, I think the political damage is long done. I think there's a lot of people that are never going back.
But it's like, how many millions, billions, and billions of damage did you do to the middle class with these lockdowns? How many suicides were committed? How much is each one of those lives worth?
Right.
You fucking pathetic weasels. $36 million. Suck my fucking dick.
Yeah, $36 million after the government just printed $400 million to fucking fund all of the COVID bullshit they came up with, to give money to these pharmaceutical conglomerates like Pfizer and Moderna, paying them how much was like, it's got to be in the billions that they had to pay for all these doses, dose after dose after fucking dose for everyone to get their shots, their protection that doesn't fucking work, right?
Right. Yeah. So now the assault charge. Oh, you gotta hear about this scary assault, this epic beatdown that based Randy Hillier did. He's just a violent psychopath. You gotta hear about this. The assault charge outlined during Monday's court session alleges Hillier marching with a group that included PPC leader Maxime Bernier. So it sounds like he's next on the docket. Ignored an officer's directions as the protests converged on Parliament Hill, then threw a metal gate out of the way. Hillier shouted, "Let's go!" as he used his shoulder and hip to push the officer out of the way, while a group of demonstrators forced their way through the barricade, according to the Crown's outline of the case. So let's check that out. We actually have video of that. Now, as pointed out in the Viva Frey stream, Like, this is not something that they brought up as a charge right away. You know, usually when you have an assault of an officer, they bring that up right away because it's very clear, right? But instead, they have this brought up like over a month later, a month and a half later. So it begs the question, are they just trying to look for whatever they can to politically prosecute them? And then they found out who this officer was, and they said, "Oh, didn't he hurt you real bad? Didn't he push you? Didn't he touch your butthole? Here's $10,000 if
There's nothing.
you be a good boy and say you touched your bum hole, right?"
Nothing more scary to a cop who has a fucking gun on their side than a 64-year-old man.
Right. So I wonder, this girl says, I wonder if this is the video police are using to justify their charges laid against Randy Hillier. And look who it is who originally did the video, Kurt Phillips of the Anti-Hate Network. And I think they are the architects behind giving all this info to law enforcement. And I'll get into more of that theory after. You know, the same people who they know that Diagolon is not actually a white supremacist ethno-state that will be taken over through bloodshed of going diagonally through North America into a succeeded nation.
Yeah,
They know
Raging
that's not the
Dissident wants
case,
to
but they
create
allow that narrative to go ahead because they don't
He
care
wants
about
to
the
create
truth.
an
They care.
ethno-state.
Yeah, he wants to create a diagonal ethno-state.
That he doesn't even live in.
Yeah. And Kurt Phillips has no problem gaslighting him to say, like, he knows that it's a joke. Like, there's other reasons why people like Kurt might not like Jeremy and would be dead set against him. But he continues to perpetuate and support the lie against Jeremy because Jeremy is his political enemy. So, like, what is this government-funded operative doing, lying and giving all this information to law enforcement and to these so-called experts that speak to CBC and to MPPs apparently too, these crazed, deranged MPPs who ramble about Diagolon, and it's like a game of broken smear telephone. They'll say like, the stated purpose of Diagolon is to start a race war. Like, that is like a broken smear game of something that Anti-Hate tried to put on Jeremy when Jeremy said that the left is trying to start a race war and we don't want it. You know, through their anti-white hatred. And we don't want that. We don't want that, you know. Diagolon is not even racialist in any sense. The whole concept of Diagolon is about red states versus blue states. It's not about white versus everybody else. That's why they have to call us neo-fascist half the time. They wouldn't be calling us neo-fascist if they actually had enough of their, you know, liberal leftist clout and, you know, enough information with the help of the mainstream narrative to call us actual neo-Nazis. That's why they gotta interchange these words and slip them in. They gotta, you know, interchange their smears wherever they can, and they don't ever have to have any accountability for it. Because that is actual privilege. This is the privilege that these people have in the system. You know, they like to project and say that we have white privilege. You know, is it white privilege when you're going to jail for your political opinions? When you have people stalking you on the government's dime constantly? That doesn't seem very privileged to me. It seems like you guys are pretty fucking privileged. Anyways, that's a rant detracting from Randy Hillier's horrific assaults. We gotta see this. We gotta see what this assault was. I'm sure this is worse than what's happening in Ukraine, right? Because we can't be focusing on this. We need to be focusing on Ukraine. What is going on? There's a war going on. Don't you guys know?
Dude, Randy Hillier here declared war on the cops.
Randy is, yeah, he is a Russian asset too. So.
Yeah, he went on RT. Yep.
He pushed the gate
Let's
open.
Go! Go!
So I don't know. I think that there was a crazy violent assault in there at some point. I couldn't really pinpoint the moment, but I think that's at least 3 of the charges or something. Anyways, let's check out Randy going to turn himself in. This is a classic Randy
This
moment.
is the most base shit I've ever seen. Look at the cigarette in his hand. He's got the fucking dart. He's just like,
oh, he's
"Yeah, I'm
got
going
the
to jail.
dart, bro.
I'm getting one more dart in here real quick."
He's
I
got
love-
the dart. He's hacking it. And he's going to hit a bullseye. Let's go. So it says Randy Hillier turning himself into the police. Tamara Leach, Pat King facing additional charges. Oh, yeah. By the way, they're facing additional charges. Maybe it's like obstruction to counseling to more obstruction to mischief in an obstructive manner. I think that's the new charges that they're putting on both of them. I don't know at this point. It's kind of convoluted and it doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. So it goes on to say, and now, out of blue, charges against a prominent political adversary. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. So let's see what Randy does.
Going into the Ottawa Police, I've been asked to surrender, face charges for expressing myself at the
all the
Freedom Convoy,
masked journos.
and I've been deemed that I have to prove that I'm not a danger to society to have my freedom. We'll see what happens.
Oh, and the hack. The final hack. The final hack.
Oh,
that's awesome.
yeah. So based.
07's to Randy.
Yeah, 07's king.
All right, yeah, free motherfucking Randy. But also, we got to get into more about him in this article here. So that was his horrific assault. Yeah, about 10 hours after turning himself in at Police Ottawa headquarters, puffing on a cigarette, and telling reporters he was a freedom fighter being prosecuted for dissenting views, Hillier was released from the Ottawa courthouse and driven back to his home in Perth. He is to reside there under the supervision of his wife, Jane, who will act as his court-approved surety after posting a $25,000 bond, while Hillier posted an additional $10,000 bond, so $35,000 bail. And he's supposedly facing millions of dollars in charge for in fines and other charges combined for, random tickets throughout this COVID bullshit. Now, let's see, his charges. These are what they are. All 9 of them. Hillier, a visible presence during the 3-week convoy protests, is now formally facing 2 counts of mischief, 2 of counseling to commit mischief. So, you tell somebody to do whatever they think is mischief, I guess. 1 of counseling someone to commit an indictable offense. So I don't even know what difference that is from mischief. Or 3 counts of resisting or obstructing a public or police officer, and 1 of assaulting a public or police peace officer. And he's denying everything. I only ever greeted people with love and affection and embrace and handshakes. So unless handshakes or warm embraces are now considered assault, I have no idea. Hey, handshakes and pancakes. That's what I saw Hillier was about. From what I've seen.
Monty J in the YouTube chat says, meanwhile, Jogger Smith commits assault and battery on live TV and nothing.
Oh, we'll be getting into that. Will Smith, whether it was fake or not, we'll be getting into that. just to finish off the Randy Hillier stuff, I think the next most important thing that involves us, ostensibly, is Hillier was released on another condition that effectively bars him from entering the downtown core, except for court appearances or to consult with his lawyer, and he is forbidden from contacting a growing list of convoy participants and accused organizers. A list that now includes at least 18 names.
Who was named?
Do you know who was named on this list? Others than yours truly. What? So, yeah, apparently I heard that I was named in the court. That I am not allowed to contact Randy Hillier, or he's not allowed to contact me. So, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that I'm next in some capacity. I don't even understand what's going on here, really. But does that mean that they're just trying to cut him off from people that they think that he associated with? I have no fucking idea. So,
to be honest, if I can interject, I think that it's not so much that they're trying to cut him off from people he associates with. I think they're trying to cut him off from people who have an online digital presence. So somebody like you, somebody like Rage, somebody like
it's
a lot
the
of
gag order, right?
Right. The people that would be able to interview him and like get his side of the story and put that out there, they don't want that out there. So they're trying to cut that off right away. Okay, anyone who has any contact with, Randy and knows who he is and has like a platform, we're going to silence that and shut that off right away. I think that's what it is more so.
Well, who knows? They could be going after all of us, and that's why they named us. And we have seen that there is a list of people that is over 100 pages where they're profiling us and like giving information about us, including maybe our addresses, our birth dates. Yeah, they're doing intel on us. It's just the way that it goes if you're a political dissident.
I want to see this list.
Well, it's something that I just saw, so maybe I should bring that up quick. I downloaded it here.
This list sounds like a great way to meet friends.
Names, yeah. So
well, how does...
I'll toss that in there. What?
Well, how does one become a designated person?
Can you hear that?
I received the list. It's over 100 pages long, and it has the evidence.
So this is Ezra Vaughn interviewing a Freedom Convoy lawyer named Keith Wilson from Quebec.
Okay.
All of my clients appear in the first 20 pages.
So let's start.
Well, how does one become a designated person?
I'll be right back.
I received the list. It's over 100 pages long, and it has the evidence. All of my clients appear in the first 20 pages. And it has on the left-hand side has the OPP and the RCMP logos all over it. And I, this police officer, investigated this, and here's what I found. And I believe these people are all designated persons. And it has a little picture, thumbnail picture on the left, and their date of birth and their personal information, their address, description about who they are and what they do, and any remarkable comments, which were really weird, the comments they picked. But anyway, and then you get to the last page of part one, and it has the evidentiary source. Okay, so where did they gather this evidence from to conclude that these people were so serious of a threat to Canada's national security that they had to invoke the war measures, the equivalent of the War Measures Act? What evidence, investigative activity do they gather in? I kid you not, it says source, CTV News, who's who in the Freedom Convoy, and it has the hyperlink.
Oh my God.
So this police investigator didn't even have to put his donut down. Sat at his desk, went click, 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 cut, paste. Okay? So the fact that some reporter or somebody at CTV News saw you on a stage at the Freedom protest, or saw you talking to a trucker, or saw you in a news conference that they put on, was enough for you to appear in that list and enough to have your finances frozen.
So if you guys get caught up in something like this, just know you're not alone. There's hundreds of pages of people just like you. You are not special, but at the same time, you are special. Because, you know, you cared enough. Put your neck on the line. Well, Hillier, one of his other conditions is that he cannot use his social media to talk about the Freedom Convoy at all, really, or about anything to do with COVID-19 regulations or anything that could be considered an anti-vax cause, whatever that means.
Like, oh my God.
So that is a condition that they're trying to fight against, because part of the reason why he's an MPP is so that he could, you know, critique Doug Ford, the Ontario Premier's COVID policy. Like, how could you even do your job as an MPP if you can't openly express what you feel? Well, I think there's something specific going on here behind the scenes where Randy Hillier is the only MPP or public official really in Canada to be talking about the damages of the jab. And seriously, this is something that has gone underreported, and I think he's onto something with at least many of his claims. I mean, obviously there are going to be some people who maybe what they think is damages from the jab or maybe something else, but I think most of them have a valid case. And I think his intuition is correct. I think the data does support it. The increase in mortality rates in specific areas that, you know, have been attributed to jab damage, but, you know, they try to tell you that, oh, these are only rare cases where this happens, except for they don't investigate it when it does happen disproportionately. And it's anybody dying from something like that when you know that when they're young they wouldn't have died from COVID. So he is really doing the Lord's work in that sense. They'll call it misinformation, they'll call him insane, insensitive, a menace to society. Really, he's the opposite.
Yeah,
it's
well,
disgusting what they're allowed to get away with. Just look at what many of the insurance companies are having to pay out people with the excess mortality rates due to things like heart attacks, strokes, blood clots. You know, young people don't get heart attacks that easily.
Yeah, or strokes. Like, fuck out of here.
They need to get investigated, all these situations. And just because you could convince some of the people who died of these situations that it had nothing to do with the vax, because, you know, you have all this immense social pressure to not kick over that tombstone and to see what really happened and to really go against the grain.
Absolutely. Well, like, put yourself in that position, right? Like, say your brother, right? You had a brother and he died right after he got the COVID vaccine, or like a few weeks later he died. And you know, like, he was healthy, everything was going fine in his life, and then all of a sudden he gets his vaccine, and that's the only thing that changed, and then now he's dead, right? And for most people, it's too much of a thing to like comprehend. Like, it's too scary for them to understand that, like, okay, the vaccine is fucked and it's dangerous and it killed my own fucking brother. So rather than even think that, they're just going to opt to the other side of the, you know, argument where it's like, oh, well, like, they're going to come up with a million copes and a million excuses and a million reasons why. And, oh, the science says this and this and this, right? Because in their own mind, it's easier to do that. It's easier to just like move on from your brother dying and forget about it than it is to come to terms with the reality of the situation, that holy shit, what the fuck's going on in our country where they're giving these drugs to people that like just killed my brother. I think it's way easier for people to just go along with, you know, the mainstream and the status quo.
It's just so overwhelming, the amount of corruption and the amount of lies and deceit, that you really have to be open to the fact that everything is a lie.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's a hard leap for a lot of people. They want to believe in the best, that they want to believe that all the people involved are not complicit. And you know what? Maybe a lot of the people are ignorant. Maybe, but ignorance is somewhat complicity. So it doesn't leave them off the hook, but it doesn't necessarily attribute malice to all these people who were involved as, like, your average doctor. But it is a lack of critical thinking skills and morality on top of these critical thinking skills and judgment that has allowed this situation to happen.
Well, and with these doctors too, like from a doctor's perspective, the best thing that we can do is everyone stay in their fucking houses for the rest of their lives, wear a mask if you ever go out anywhere, socially distance, don't go to any fucking crowded events ever. And that would drastically reduce the effects of flu and coronavirus and all of these other different viruses and illnesses. They wouldn't spread as often if people would just stay in their houses, locked up in a little fucking cell or a little cage for the rest of their existence. But the reality is, like, sure, on paper, that sounds great. Okay, we want to conquer a virus. Well, like, lock everyone in their homes. But like from a human perspective, you can't do that to people. And that's the problem with doctors in general, is they're very bookworm, what's the term? Like they're very like smart in the sense that they can understand concepts and memorize things and all that. But when it comes to like a human level, it's like they can't bridge between that and like the science, right? So like scientifically, sure, locking everyone in their homes for 2 years and like, restricting their movements and restricting their lives, that did, lower virus, spread, sure. But like that, what does that do to people? Because people aren't.
Yeah. To be honest, I think that half of doctor functions could be replaced with holistic doctors. Doctors who are in tune with what it means to be a human and natural health, instead of giving people drugs and injecting people with shit, getting people in touch with meditation, with proper nutrition, with proper habits and health, and functional self-improvement type developments in their lives.
I think there's going to be a lot of science that comes out in the next probably 50 or 100 years that shows that diet and mental health are actually the two keys to pretty much overall health in general.
Well,
and
you wouldn't think, you think? It's not being a fat piece of shit and then
not even just that though. Like you could be
making excuses. Wow.
You could be skinny and you have a horrible diet, and then your gut biome, like there's all these
the gut microbiome is one of the emerging sciences in the health industry. Just overall in health science and new discoveries. You go in TED Talks and you can see that there's like dozens and dozens of things in the last 5 years alone about the wonders of the gut microbiome, and how if you treat your gut microbiome right, it'll make your brain function properly and it'll cure depression in many instances.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's so many like specific instances of that. But just getting a bit off topic here, back to our boy Hillier. Yes, he is being prosecuted with 9 different charges, $35,000 bail, and all these ridiculous conditions, including he can't talk to me personally. And several of our friends. I believe some of the other people were Greg, Derek, Rage, Tyler, Shane, and then all the leaders of the convoy. So they're lumping us together in with them. So it seems like they went after the leaders of the convoy at first, and now they're coming after the influencers. Now, I don't know how much I influenced. I'm a little bit touched that you think that I influence things that much. Whoa, me? Really? But hey, here we are. I don't know what this means. I don't know if that means they're coming after us next. And you know what? If I were charged with mischief, I would not feel bad about it, because, or I don't know what mischief entails. Did I counsel mischief? Was I obstructive? I don't know what these words fucking mean. This is really super fucked to me. Like, I just wanted a peaceful protest and to do what's right for my community. I don't think you should discriminate against people because they didn't want to take a forced injection that a lot of us did our own research on. It's fucked up, man.
Oh yeah, man, it is.
We're living in fucked up times, but hey, we could find solace in knowing that we're doing the right thing by sticking to our beliefs. So yeah, everybody's gonna go to jail, okay? So get buff first of all, and also when the soap drops, you gotta pick up that soap somehow, right? So I would suggest instead of bending over, squat down. Squat down. Like if you bend over, that'll leave your anal cavity open to, they're gonna say that you're a white supremacist in jail. So jail is mostly and
Native.
they might not take too kindly to white supremacists, so called, in jail. So I would say when you go to pick up that soap after it slips out of your hand, that you just squat down, and you need to go to the gym and practice your squats while you still can, and then you just squat down and pick it up, okay? Because if you bend over and you get caught in
Soaring
the wrong
eagle
position,
will come and grape your ass.
yeah, you'll get graped by Will Smith because he thinks that you made fun of his wife's bald head.
No, Edgy, we're in Canada. It'd be Soaring Eagle and his brother Big Bear.
Oh, yes. He thinks that you made a bad joke about him while he was drunk off the toilet rum or whatever. So, yeah, watch out for that, boys. We got a lot on our plates. We got a lot of shit sandwiches on our plates. But I think we'll get through it. I think we're all right. I think you're all right, man. You're all right. So anyways, let's see what Jordan B. Peterson is saying about Antifa these days. This will fucking make you shit yourself. It'll also make you piss yourself shitting. So I think this is like a leftist video trying to denigrate him, but either way it's fucking funny. Goes, curious journalist Andy, no. Andy, no! No,
Andy, no.
Ask Professor Emeritus Jordan Peterson how psychology can explain why Antifa is so evil and bad. JPB says it's revenge against God for the crime of being. Then he starts crying. Now this sounds epic and based, so I can't wait to watch this again.
Wanted to ask you about based on your knowledge, your background, your clinical experience, what is the psychology of this mob violence? When I see it, I don't even recognize some of these. They seem animalistic, is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
Oh, yes.
They're worse than animals, because animals, they just kill to eat, Human beings, they have a twist in them that makes them far worse than animals when they really get going. Well, I think you really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being.
Ooh.
That's really what I think. It's Cain and Abel. It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh, God? How about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that? All my sacrifices went unrewarded. Yeah. It's like
disassociated Wignat Biblical Peterson. I love it.
No, that's fucking a really good point.
Yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
And then he starts crying. That's fucking. He does make a good point. Let's go through that bit by bit. I was kind of howling a bit. Not because I think he's just a loon, which I kind of do think, but at the same time, I do appreciate what he said, and I think it has some merit to it. Like, as funny as it is, and how unhinged it seems.
Wanted to ask you about
I think it was pretty epic.
Based on your knowledge, your background, your clinical experience, what is
the beta Andy No, who just gets milkshaked like a loser, and then makes a career out of his victimhood there. He's just getting mocked by the theological philosopher just fresh off of his benzo coma in Russia. Just getting absolutely out alphaed in the intellectual field here.
Psychology of this mob violence. When I see it,
Boy,
like I
as
don't even recognize.
as a gay Asian man with a British accent.
Yeah, no shit. Ugh. You can't just beat up Andy. No, he's gay and he's an Asian.
Oh no.
Some of these,
Andy,
they seem animalistic, is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
They're worse than animals.
They're worse than animals, because animals, they just kill to eat, you know?
Very Hitler-esque. Not that Hitler is good, but I just like that he's channeling multiple historical figures with his figures of speech.
Human beings, they have a twist in them that makes them far worse than animals when they really get going. Well, I think
I think that's a good evolutionary biology and psychology point, is that animals, they don't they're not really Machiavellian in that sense when it comes to the psychology that they have evolved with. You know, they do what they can to survive. Sometimes they get more vicious when they're hungry, or they have rabies, or they feel threatened.
Yeah,
But-
a bear doesn't kill just to kill.
Right. There's no Ted Bundy of bears, right?
I think, you really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being.
And I like that, too. Because it's like they're mad about some kind of element of existence. So they take it out on people who are more in tune with accepting what they have and trying to build off of it. So they're mad at being with a capital B, like the state of existence. So they want to transcend that existence, but instead of trying to prove themselves to make something more of their own existence, they want to bring down others. And I think that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Now, I love how I could watch this one time through and be like, what a fucking lunatic! But at the same time, I could go through it again and dissect it and be like, okay, no, this is some great points.
Yeah, I like his Cain and Abel reference here.
I like how it's both insane, but logical to me at the same
I don't even think it's insane. I don't think that's the right word. I think it's maybe
it's eccentric, or
yeah, well, it's extreme. It might be extreme,
yeah.
But I don't think it's insane. Like as a Christian,
Not
myself,
insane. Yes. Okay.
I totally understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Really what I think. It's Cain and Abel. It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh? God, how about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that?
And then he brings in, obviously, the religious theology, the myths of our creation, and he relates that to the evolutionary biology and psychology of, you know, what is going on today with these SJWs and their mob mentality and their vindictiveness and hatred towards self-improvement, essentially.
Yeah.
And they want to tear people down in order to bring themselves up, instead of bring themselves up to bring themselves up, essentially. And I think this Cain and Abel parable is a great parallel to this modern phenomenon.
All my sacrifices went unrewarded. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
Legend says that he passed out right after this and fell back into a Russian coma. And then his daughter just
revived him with
head.
benzodiazepine.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems like Peterson has been on the uppers lately. He's been going hard on Twitter. I think he just snorts Adderall and then just, like, finds, like, people that he's pissed off at, like, okay, bucko, to, like, Stephen Gilbo. Okay,
Listen
you
here,
malevolent...
bucko, you gotta go clean your room.
Yeah. Yeah, you malevolent, sniveling bucko. You better repeal this law. So, you know, if he could get more extreme like that, that would be pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
miss the old days when he would go on like fucking mainstream news and just wreck feminists. That was good stuff. But like,
yeah.
uh,
Like good culture war material, and I hope
oh yeah,
I hope he has the ability to do that in the future without crying halfway through, because that'd be pretty embarrassing, to be honest.
yeah,
But
man.
I don't think it would help his case. But I don't know. I like that he's trying to get himself back out there. If he needs to cry a few times before he gets back to bigger endeavors
Dude, I'm
than
telling you,
interviewing Andy No.
It's the fucking
Yeah.
carnivore diet, dude. He's got to start eating some goddamn potatoes again, man.
Oh, the
Carnivore
carbs,
diet
yes.
is just killing him.
Oh fuck, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, you might be right on that one. Anyways, I think it's time we went to the infamous slap. The moment that everybody's talking about, you know.
The slap heard round the
world. Yeah.
You know
the Will Smith on Chris Rock black on black violent slap at the Oscars.
Black on black shit.
Shit, that's some black on black crime. We usually don't talk about that. We only talk about the knee on George Floyd's neck. But this time we doing black on black because it is literally the #1 trending video on YouTube. So we have to cover it.
How many views does it have? Holy shit.
75 million views in
Oh
1
my
or 2
God.
days.
So
yeah,
this
it's pretty big for
single-handedly
YouTube.
brought the Oscars back to relevancy. Fuck.
Right, so we have to acknowledge every different possible aspect of this. Now, we should probably check the chats and see what people are saying. Oh yeah, Alstarn is saying, did anybody catch the white supremacy okay sign that Randy made while he was hacking that dart? I don't know, man. I'm sure that that's written into some kind of court testimony.
That's the Pall Mall pinch, man. That's the Pall
The
Mall.
Pall Mall pinch. I love that. Bro, it's just the Pall Mall pinch. What are you talking about? Crazy.
Actually, you know what? Based on Randy's voice, it might be the player's pinch. I think Randy probably smokes player's rich regular.
I don't know anything about smokes.
Well, I used to work at a store, and like this, everyone that smoked players rich had like this deep, gravelly, voice, and so I feel like he might be a players rich kind of guy.
Okay, so you got the voice to dart
Yeah.
ratio going on. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know anything
People
about that.
People that smoke Pall Malls are up there too, but players rich is like a very gravelly, deep. Like,
Guys, get off the
Players
darts. It's changing your voice so that this guy can profile you.
players rich regular.
I know, it does sound pretty base. If you hear Randy speak, it's fucking hilarious. So, darts, constant hacking of darts does make you sound based and hilarious. And
Yeah,
more
they'll have a
daring,
smoking section outside, and Randy will be like, "Nah, I'll smoke in the garage."
Sounds like you're talking from experience. But anyways, fucking smash that like button if you're enjoying this so far. We want to get this up in the algo so it gets pushed out to people more after the stream is done. Whatever. But now we're getting into the celeb gossip portion of this live stream. So
We had
first,
to do it.
gotta do it, and people are gonna say, oh, it's fake and gay, why do you even give them any attention? Well, first of all, if it's fake and gay, we gotta figure out why it's fake and gay and why they're doing it, and it'll have some cultural, societal relevancy, first of all. And second of all, why you gotta ruin our fun like that? And third of all, we can see all the cringe takes that everybody has, and it's like an example of what people do in a society and how they respond to something like this. And it just exposes how people are thinking, and it's hilarious. So don't worry about it. It will be fun. You're not gonna, feel like you're in celeb gossip. You're in good hands here. You're on the EdgeStream, okay? You're on the EdgeStream. We'll do you good.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada,
Oh,
you
man,
out here?
that's so funny.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Oh, see?
That was a nice
Shit,
one.
did I
Okay.
say the wrong thing?
I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
You slapped silly. You
That
don't
was
know what.
Greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Okay.
I love how they're trying to say, like, okay, well, Chris Rock, he did take it well, relatively. Like, if this is real, obviously. But at the same time, they're like, he handled it like a pro. It's like, no, he didn't. Listen to what he fucking said after. It was so fucking retarded.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was greatest night in the history of television.
That was a greatest night in the history of television.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Like,
Expert comedian.
if he had any chops right there, he should have come up with something like totally fucking amazing and like slapped him back, you know, basically with words. Like he could have come up with some sort of, you know, edgy joke right back at him.
That was a greatest. I just got slapped like a bitch. Come on, Chris. You know, I think he did handle it relatively well because, yeah, you just got fucking slapped the fuck out. So I understand. But, jeez. You know, come on. You're one of the greatest of all times. This is when you should have bust out the 1996 special bit where you go, that is the difference between black peoples and niggas.
Yeah.
Black people will laugh at the joke and understand that you was telling a joke as part of the as part of the Oscars, as part of the host and the job that you're doing. Niggas will jump out of the seat and slap you in the motherfucking face. You don't want to fuck with niggas. Shit. That should have been what Chris Rock said. I did a Chris Rock better than he did.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with him? Man, I'm an honorary N, okay? I'm an honorary black at this point with my knowledge of the, you know, the negrology. I'm an expert in negrology. Yes.
Where'd you get your PhD? Cornell.
Yeah. Well, Cornell West, Mike.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Shit, well, I caught on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're as much of a fucking nerd with this shit as I am.
All right. Well, here is our buddy East Coast Canadian saying that this shit is fake, okay? Saying Will Smith smacking Chris Rock is a fake publicity stunt. Now, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. So let's see if he's right or wrong or whatever.
East Coast Canadian here with another that was bullshit moment.
Okay, I need to take a piss, so I'll just let this play, and then I'll come back to comment on it.
I need to pull a Randy Hillier and hack a dart, so I'll be right back too.
Okay, well, it's gonna be done in 1 minute and 20, so I'll try to be back before that. But
Yeah,
just to
I'll
play
let you
this-
know when I'm back.
All right, East Coast Canadian here with another that was bullshit moment. So at the Oscars last night, you know, allegedly Will Smith smacked Chris Rock in the face for some reason. Because now jokes offend people and you can go smack them in the face. Is that what they're trying to say? I don't know. But it's all bullshit. You're in a room. You're watching people in a room, all actors, acting right now. It's a publicity stunt. It's fake. I've made enough movies and stuff where I put sound effects into shit, fake punches and stuff. And they put the sound effect in about 2 seconds too early because you can hear the sound effect of the smack before he even smacks him. Just watch. Hear that? You heard the smack. And he hasn't even hit him yet. Right? That's fake as fuck. So, don't believe it.
Yeah, so basically he's claiming that the sound effect hit before the slap even happened. Now, I had to go and try to corroborate that myself, and I did not see the same thing. So I try to find as many videos as I can. I think I found one video where it was like a crappy cell phone video of it, or some other kind of weird download, where it seemed like the audio might be out of sync because of some technical difficulty with the medium that it was presented in. But either way, if you go back to any of the other versions of it,
You know who's got the hardest job tonight?
you see where the slap happens.
Can't wait to see. That was a nice one. Okay.
I don't know where he found that video. It was probably the one that I found where it was all fucked up. And then he's running off of that one. But if you put it down to 25 speed, here, 0.25 speed. Here you go. Seems like it happens right when it would, you know? And that is the sound that it would make if you heard like it pop in the lav mic getting slapped in the fucking face. So I don't think that evidence that it is fake is true. You know, I think if it is fake, then it was something that was pre-staged, it was pre-planned. You know, they got together in one of their Freemason, Illuminati, Hollywood meetings, and they said, the Oscars are tanking. Oy vey, the Oscars are tanking, and we need a new gimmick in order to get the ratings higher than they usually are, because we got to compete with Ukraine and all this stuff. And, you know, Will Smith as an asset to them. He's probably gay. He's got some crazy-ass fucking wife. Chris Rock is doing pretty big numbers, so obviously he's compromisable, so they could get him to do something stupid like this and keep his mouth shut. So you have to think why they would want to do something like that if they were to have planned it out. I think the slap is real or whatever, and I don't think the sound effect was off or anything. But it could have been on purpose. Like, it's not that hard to slap somebody and it be planned, right? It looked like he was possibly bracing himself for it. Maybe because he realized he was about to get slapped. Really. Why else is Will Smith there? It's not necessarily to hug him for the joke he just made about his wife, right? So if they did plan it, I think it would ultimately be for a boost in ratings, for a distraction. You know, if you want to get into more theories, it could be to normalize people beating up people who offend them, you know, kind of along the lines of punch a Nazi. You could also punch someone who makes fun of black women. That is another specific angle that people are taking on this. You will not believe the cringe takes that people have about this, and specifically just the defense of Will Smith here in specific regards to Chris Rock making fun of a black woman, the precious black woman, and her hair, her historical African hair Which she doesn't even have. She doesn't even have any African hair that is
You can't
supposed to
make
be.
fun of these black queens.
These black queens. Well, the bitch lost all her historical hair, her historical black queen hair. So he's making fun of something that you're not even
You don't
saying.
understand, Edgy. She has alopecia, okay? She has an autoimmune disorder, and it makes her hair fall out. And you don't understand what it's like to be a woman and lose their hair. It's like part of their being.
Right, yeah.
Meanwhile,
they
men
don't
go
look like
bald at 20, like
they don't look like the island boys, then they're not fulfilled in their life, right?
you know, and it's like, meanwhile, men go bald, and women are like, "Oh, I don't like bald men. I don't like bald men."
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
point.
bald.
Yeah. I like bald, gross men. Those icky. Yeah.
Heaven forbid you have genetics where you lose your hair. I mean, oh my goodness. But she has alopecia. She can't even prevent it. It's just
Wear a fucking wig. You all do it anyways.
Yeah, no shit.
We know what a weave is. We know that it. We've seen you get into your slap fights. You do it all the time. You pull each other's hairs.
The
The
thing that
weave
kills me
comes
too,
out.
these black women, they're always
Illusion
talking about
shattered.
their hair. But in reality, they don't grow their natural hair out because their natural hair turns into a fucking afro. They desperately want the white woman's straight long hair.
That's cultural appropriation. I will not have any of it. Okay. It's other. You're right.
Yeah, they're appropriating white women's hair.
Yep. Ooh, that's racist. Anyways, this is probably the best article title I've ever seen. It says, "Cuckold Rage." Will Smith humiliated after slapping Chris Rock over Oscars joke. Many ask why the actor is okay with open relationship, yet gets violent in response to jokes. Yes, this is the best take. I had to get the best take out of the way first. And basically, in September last year, Smith attempted to dismiss years of cheating allegations by announcing he and Jada were in an open relationship. So for years before that, it was like, yeah, beta! Does Jesse Lee Peterson have anything to say about this?
Probably.
Oh shit, it's glitching. Can you hear this? Oh, my soundboard just glitched out. We never got a full beta out of that. Okay, we'll try that again.
Beta!
There we go. Boomer tech, boys and girls. Anyways, yeah, he had an open relationship after years of the rumors going around. And basically, she's fucking some 20-somethings rappers. And he's okay with it all. You know, the mogul that he is, he's okay with it. Even though he looked clearly crushed in all these interviews, and he even admitted that he was hurt by it. Like, so he doesn't get mad at the guy fucking his wife, you know, destroying his credibility, making him seem like a simp, despite his alpha male roles in all these movies that he's cast in. And then he goes crazy over somebody making a joke about his wife having some kind of thing where she goes bald. Like, she does not have cancer. She's not dying of AIDS. This is what you have a hissy fit over? So I love these last two sentences here. There's clearly a huge you have to do this is by Paul Joseph Watson, this article. So you have to do it in his voice. I'm probably going to butcher it. There's clearly a huge disconnect between Smith being okay with his wife banging umpteen other men while having a... Okay, I'll just stop because I'm butchering. Well, banging umpteen other men while having a violent hissy fit over Chris Rock making a joke about her hairstyle. The open marriage appears to have made the actor emotionally unstable and prone to explosive outbursts, lashing out in response to having been publicly disrespected and humiliated by his own wife. And I think that's true. That's probably what happened. You know, he had enough of it. All that anger that anger of him getting cucked and now being the guy who gets cucked when it comes to salacious Hollywood gossip. And this is what happens. You have the cuck rage boiling over. I remember there was one video where I profiled these 4 beta fucking nerds in a polyamorous relationship with this one fat chick. And it was like the subject of one of these, Life Network type shows where it was like polyamorous and in love and having a baby. So these 4 nerds were with this one fat woman, and they you find out which one of them is the father, and they're all fine with taking care of the baby, supposedly. Well, it turns out one of them goes to jail for beating the shit out of the baby because it wouldn't stop crying. Newsflash, he wasn't the father. So, this is the results of cuck rage. The cuckold rage, as Paul Joseph Watson says. This is not something you want to subject yourself to. And you could be the top of the world, but if you fall to the degeneracies of modern man, these are the kind of things that can overcome you.
The thing that kills me about Will Smith in this whole situation is like his wife took his last name because he's somebody. She's who? Right? Like, who the fuck is his wife? She's Will Smith's wife. Like, whenever somebody's going to talk about this bitch, it's Will Smith's wife, because Will Smith is the one with status. Will Smith is the one who's done something. Will Smith is the one who has a career.
And she's going to take that name and put more dicks into it.
Right. But like, for him to be such a weak man that he won't even, like, like the fact that he, in that interview where she's like telling him about the relationship she had with this black rapper who's 20 years younger than her, he doesn't even get upset. Like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's your wife.
Well, his son is cross-dressing and wearing like different dresses.
Yeah, there's probably some.
I think Will Smith is a homosexual, and that's something that's been heard, and that, like, I think he's at least bisexual, and so it doesn't make him very respectable when he's getting ass fucked.
Yeah, well,
that's why it probably loses respect for him.
I also think there's an element of the whole, like, the people that are involved in Hollywood and like the satanic cabal, basically, there's like a humiliation ritual that they have to go through. Like, you see this time and time again with these celebrities where they they have to humiliate themselves in front of all of society, at an event or what have you. And so I think that maybe there's an element of that kind of playing in here where it's like,
I don't know how that would facilitate it. Like, you go to the house of Rothschild and he's just like Mr. Burnsing with his fingers. Like, now it's time for your humiliation ritual, Mr. Smith. And then you nigger. He calls him a nigger literally to his face. I'm just quoting Rothschild here. Like, because he's humiliating him. He has no respect for him. And he's like, yes, sir. Like, what do you want me to do for more billions and millions of dollars? That was not my N-word. That was Jacob Rothschild. I just got to put that out there. I was speaking, paraphrasing an actual psychopathic racist.
Well, I don't quite fully understand a lot of that stuff, but like, from my understanding, it has to do a lot to do with like Crowley and magic. And Crowley and magic, from the Aleister Crowley fame, it's a lot to do with like debauchery and like doing things like Aleister Crowley purposely infected himself with like tons of STDs and like thought it was like a good thing. Like, the guy was fucking insane if you read some of his literature on that. So I don't know. There's a lot of this kind of humiliation that I see with these Hollywood elites where it's like they get humiliated and then all of a sudden you see them, getting maybe new roles in movie.
Right. Money. Yeah. You wear the dress, right?
Right.
Dave Chappelle would not wear the dress, and then he fucked off to Africa. Right? Kevin Hart wore the dress. He's bigger than ever now. Yeah. But I guess it is what it is. Tyler Perry, that's his name, right? Yeah, Tyler Perry always wears the dress. Eddie Murphy wore the dress. Now he's pushed into more of obscurity, like as a has-been, because he wore the dress and he lost credibility because the movie sucked.
And I really like what Dave Chappelle said about Eddie Murphy. He's like it's something along the lines of like, how does a man go from being on top of his game to he's in the streets saying they're trying to kill me or something like that. Like there was a very interesting interview where Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy. I definitely think you should check that out.
They're trying to kill me. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, yes, yeah, something like that. Like I can't remember exactly. It's been a while since I've seen the video, but if you type in just Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, or Dave Chappelle talks about Eddie Murphy, that's an interesting.
I'll definitely have to look at that. Anyways, never mind the Satanism and all that stuff for now. Just looking at the evolutionary psychology of what is going on here. There's this one guy on Twitter named Alpha Rivelleno, and his thing is the green lines never lie. So you could always see people leaning in, who leans in, who does what in the body posture of couples, and you could see who is the alpha in many pictures. Obviously there's some outlier pictures where it's just a circumstance, but you could probably get the gist of it. Like, he's the one leaning into her, and she feels like she doesn't have to lean in because she's the boss, right? And they add more stuff, like his legs are crossed and he's covering it because he has cock shame. He's smiling more than her, trying to compensate, and she's just like, I'm a badass bitch. I don't need a smile. Like, I'm better than you, right?
I fucked Pac, nigga.
Yeah, fuck Pac. Shit. And then over here we see that it's the opposite. The man is in charge here, and it's Ghislaine Maxwell is leaning in to Jeffrey Epstein. He doesn't lean in, he just brings her in. He stands straight, doesn't lean in. He pulls her in with a classic headlock move. And then point 3, she loves it. So the green lines, they never lie. Oh, and the John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
Jesus.
The ultimate simp. Like, he's literally suckling at her like a naked little baby.
Like a monkey.
Brutal. Yeah, so evolutionary psychology succeeds again at giving us some extra insights into what is going on in these people's subconsciouses, for sure, into their ingrained subconscious physiology. Now, let's see what's going on in the sphere of influencers and what they think of this. One that stuck out for me that made me laugh my fucking ass off is Ethan Klein. Now, I used to be a fan of H3 back when I first started YouTube and all this stuff. He was like a comedy god to me almost. But he has fallen off so hard. He's become such a shell of himself, and he's attracted the SJW crowd. In fact, he recently deleted the podcast episode that he did with Jordan Peterson because he said, "Sorry, I didn't realize at the time that Jordan Peterson was a gateway to the alt-right, so I've deleted the episode."
Yeah,
Pathetic.
he's such a fucking
absolute fucking loser. Yeah, but now he's trying to, since he's attracted this crowd of rabid SJWs and normie losers, now he's trying to say something that actually kind of makes sense, right? And they turn on him for it because he's attracted this crowd of fucking retards who can't even take a joke, even though that's what he's supposed to be doing, making edgy jokes, right? She says Will Smith was just a walking L since his wife decided to start weekly humiliating him on her Facebook show. Very true. She like cucks him and like talks very openly about the open relationship on her Facebook show. And he says, Prob should deal with whatever trauma he has with her instead of punching Chris Rock in the face for an extremely tame joke, which it was. He needs to be escorted out of the Oscars. And he drops an L on him. So this is what they say. It's safe to say that you fell off. Over 1,000 likes. Oh. And then, yeah. Just all these people. The joke he made about his wife was in terrible taste, though. She's a condition that she's been open about that causes her to lose her hair. Almost 10,000 likes.
She is alopecia!
Yeah, she's losing her hair, guys. Oh, and she was open about it. I love how that matters in the least fucking bit.
Dude, if women lose their hair, that's like literally worse than the Holocaust.
Whoa, okay, you're messing up narratives here now. You're gonna get us in a little bit of trouble. Uh-oh, you don't want to go down that road. No. And in fact, what he failed to see, if you look at our good friend, what's his name again? Andy Nigga? Nigga?
Andy, oh no!
Andy, no! Oh no! Andy, no! Don't throw that milkshake at me! Ouch! Ouch!
Don't you know I'm a gay Asian man?
My brain hurts now. Joe Rogan. Help me make a career out of this. Joe Rogan's like, they did what to you?
Tim Pool, please.
Anyways, Andy No exposes this Canadian critical race theorist, saying that white outrage about Will Smith's slap is rooted in anti-blackness. It's inequality in plain sight. Don't y'all know it was just anti-blackness? It's inequality in plain sight. Y'all didn't know? Shit. Anyways, Ethan didn't know, apparently. He was not adequately woke enough for the new woke audience that he procured. So let's see how he's dealing with it on his live stream. His shitty ass fucking live stream that gets like 60, 70,000 live viewers while it's going. We're not going to watch much of this because I don't want to fucking kill you with this. He's literally got like 7 retarded millennials on his panel. He's so fat and coughs the whole time. It's fucked, man. This guy is going to die soon, I think.
He's like, dude, chill. What's wrong with you? Whatever. Paraphrasing.
And you can see his chat.
I said, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
And you just skip through it. You can see some of the super chats. I think Will should have talked to him after the show. I do understand getting emotional, though. My husband has lost a lot of hair due to medication for lupus, and a joke like that would have upset him. And the next one, this is all like his members chat, too. So apparently these people all had to pay to give takes this bad. Respectfully, Chris Rock has won. A history of digging the Smiths and Jada. That's so terrible. How dare he? And 2, he did a documentary about black women's hairs, so he knows it's a sensitive subject. Okay, you know what? I think Chris Rock deserves to get fucking slapped in the face for making a documentary about black women's hairs. Okay, you've lost all sympathy for me at that point.
Of how insanely
He made a documentary about
and just wanting to defuse the situation said, you know.
Do you know that they try to pass a law in the US saying that you can't discriminate no matter how stupid their hair is as an employer? And it's only along racial lines. Like if you say that your haircut is culturally like relevant. And Jared Taylor was doing an expose about that. So he's like, what about this hair thing? And then he showed some like absolutely insane like pygmy haircut. And then he just showed like other things so they have like, you know, those massive discs and rings in their face. And it's like, what about this? Is this indigenous to this tribe? Should we make this part of our professional attire? It was such a good point. It's like, to what extent are you going to drop the standards? It's like, we don't care what color you are. It's just maybe conform to societal norms at least a little bit and stop.
Yeah, or get the fuck out, bitch.
Yeah, maybe you could wear discs in your lip back in your home country if that's what you really want to do. In Mummy Africa.
Like, I will. What I of course wish he said was, if what's her name?
Oh, this is great. There's a very specific context about commenting on a black woman's appearance, and especially hair. It's really a very deep running cultural thing that is hard to explain. Not excusing Will.
Ugh.
So this is the guy who used to be edgy that I used to look up to 5-6 years ago. Obviously not anymore. I hate him, especially seeing his sellout downfall that he's had. Brutal.
Yeah, so like if I can real quick, my introduction to H3 wasn't even his comedy videos. It was through his roasting of Jake Paul because he put out some videos making fun of Jake Paul. And at the time, Jake Paul was like, to me, and I still think he probably isn't in a lot of ways, but he has changed a bit. But at the time, Jake Paul was just like the most cancerous thing for
Right.
Zoomers that I'd ever seen. I was like, I can't believe that Zoomers are watching this fucking kid who's like a rich kid and he's out there showing off his rich lifestyle and they all look up to him and like his whole lifestyle's fake and phony and fucking bullshit and social media induced and all this shit. So when Ethan was making fun of him at the time, I was like, wow, like this is great. He's totally roasting this guy and he's right because Jake Paul's a fucking asshole at the time. But then fast forward a couple of years and like he is just so far gone into the leftist bullshit. Like the fact that he has a show with Hassan Piker.
Yeah,
Hassan
that's another thing.
He's just such a fucking mocking shitlib. Like he's the definition of shitlib. He's just constantly mocking anyone who has a different
Ethan
opinion.
Klein now does co-host a show with Hassan Piker, who's like the nephew of Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. And what Hassan Piker brings to the table is back in the day, the SJWs, they were so cringy and they were so pathetic and victims that they couldn't argue against anybody without getting destroyed because they're so fragile. In comes Hassan Piker. He's like the jock of leftists, where, you know, he'll come in and be like, this guy's a fucking Nazi loser, like freak. Look at this loser. You know, that's his contribution to the social paradigm, essentially, to the political paradigm.
Yeah, and like 75% of his
works.
viewers are just girls that think he's hot.
Yeah. So anyways, this this is I guess the ultimate expression of the black woman question about this whole debacle. In the Atlantic, this is their #1 article right now. And it says the two Americas debating Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Shit, one's white, nigga.
Yeah, look at that photo right there. That's art right there. That's really funny. I like this. It says black people and white people aren't necessarily discussing the Oscar slap in the same way. So she goes on to say, I had a bunch of highlights here, but they got deleted somehow. I don't know. But I'll try to remember what I highlighted here because there was some pretty important, funny stuff. Okay, what has developed since that unforgettable moment at the Oscars is a classic two Americas conversation. By that I mean black people and white people aren't necessarily talking about the incident in the same way. That much was evident in the celebrity reaction. Tiffany Haddish, a black actress, told People magazine, when I saw a black man stand up for his wife, that meant so much to me. In contrast, Judd Apatow, a director who is white, right?
Ew, you can't be white. Ew.
Tweeted that Smith could have killed Rock. So you can see like the fragile Judd Apatow in his stance, and like he was outraged. He's like, that could have been me and I could have been killed. And of course he's since deleted his tweet because he is a coward.
Judd Apatow. Let me just check that early life history here.
Okay, I think you caught on to what I was implying. The white thing, you know. I think that
every time. My god.
It's not that I care about that necessarily. It's just that he throws white people under the bus when it's convenient for him. And then you have to go,
blank, but not religious. Oh, every time.
Yeah, and of course Howard Stern, they mention here, and he compares Will Smith to Donald Trump.
Ugh.
But basically, they're trying to say that there's two different Americas here. And you know what? I say that's fine. I think we should have a bit of a separation here. I think this is a perfect time to bring up the conversation of secession, right? Now, on one side, you could have the people who think that it's okay to slap people over words and attack people over words that you find offensive. And
like
then,
Californians.
Right. And then on the other side, you could have all the other people who could use their free speech to express their opinions, maybe tell some edgy jokes, and they don't have to worry about getting punched in the face by somebody who has no impulse control. And I think one of the main things is containing that impulse control of your emotion on one side of this succession, and then the other side, you could have no impulse control, and you could say it's all in the defense of black woman, WomXN, or whatever you want to fucking say at that point, whatever cope you want to make up. But yeah, I'm all down for succession in that sense. I mean, you could come on the side where you don't slap people if you're black, or you could go on the other side if you're white. But it's kind of an ideological succession at this point. But I think a lot of people will be ending up on one side of certain persuasions, and a lot of people will be ending up on the other. So, let the chips fall where they may, is what I say. They go on.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say the one take I heard that has nothing to do with race on this was a lot of girls I know are saying like, this is what an abusive relationship looks like, like violence is never okay because of abuse and blah 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 blah. But yeah, sorry, I kind of interrupted your
No, that's shit. Another take. Like, what I like about these, even if it is fake, it does bring up all these conversation, and it brings up to the surface and out of the woodwork what people are thinking. And it's kind of like a psyop, like and you can make an observance of social phenomenons and trends and stuff. So, and it's always funny. Like, you have Paul Joseph Watson writing articles about cuckold rage. You have blacks writing their unhinged articles about the sanctity of black women in their hair, and how people need to beat each other up over insulting
the sanctity of black hair.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's a microaggression. Did you not know? So the Academy apparently is insinuating that they're gonna investigate it, and I guess one of the things is they could take away his Best Actor Winners Award, his Best Actor award that he won, which apparently he gave a speech that I saw where he apologized to everybody but Chris Rock. And I also love how in the during the Oscars, nobody did anything. Like, nobody said, "Hey, stop! Wait a minute! An assault just happened. This is not okay."
Well, honestly, like
it wasn't even his joke. Somebody else wrote it for him. First of all,
sure, but I'll give the people in the audience a little bit of a leeway with that one, because they probably, just like a lot of people at home, were like, "Okay, this is staged. This is fake."
Right. Well, yeah, it could be. Also, though, I do have a good take on this, is that I remember in my high school, one of my high school classes, I had a classmate, let's just say his name is Jamar. He was like one of the like potential valedictorian types. Like,
his name was Jamar? Holy shit.
It might have been Jamal.
Okay.
I might be getting an R and an L wrong, but either way, he was like, the 6 foot tall, or 6 or more foot tall
black
athlete, star quarterback of the football team, and
definitely
also
black.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm implying, and like 80 plus average. So I was in this class with this retarded teacher who was like some weird Polish guy who didn't know how to control the class, and we were all shooting elastics at each other. And I think at one point this Jamar guy said, "Yo, if anyone shoots an elastic to me, I'm fucking them up," or something. And then one of them accidentally hit him. So he gets up and he said, "I told you not to fucking do it!" And he goes over to the guy and choke slams him off of his chair into the ground. And then our teacher's like, "Oh, violence! Oh, no!" And then immediately sends the guy who got choke slammed to the office. And it's like, bro, this guy just fucking like violently assaulted a guy, choke slamming him out of a chair.
Yo, but he black though, so that was like reparations and shit.
Right, yeah, and I was like, is anybody gonna stand up to this? And no, it was just, he got away with it. It was He was in the right. You know, he was like a Will Smith type character almost.
And he gonna get away with it for the rest of his life, nigga.
he
Shit,
can't
that's
keep getting
reparations.
away with it. Yeah, it's infinite reparations. But anyways, yeah, people don't know what to do in those situations. So I do agree. I kind of understand how they reacted. But I like how they talk about, but taking away Smith's Oscar would be absurd, considering that the producer, Harvey Weinstein, yes, who has been convicted of rape, still has his Oscar. Also, Roman Polanski,
Let me just go early life history here.
who pleaded guilty to statutory rape. But you see, Roman Polanski won for making a Holocaust movie called The Pianist. So when you do that amount of pro bono work for the cause, then yeah, you get your Oscar and you get acquitted of pedophilia in the mind of Hollywood. And Mel Gibson, who has an ugly history of racist and anti-Semitic remarks.
Based.
Yeah, they still have theirs too. So, yeah, if anybody tried to take away Mel Gibson's Oscar, I'd tell you there would be a crucifixion, but this time it would be the other way around. Metaphorically, of course. Metaphorically. I mean like a verbal crucifixion of how dare you, right? I definitely don't mean a literal physical crucifixion going the other way around. You know, I would never think to do something like that to somebody. It's just out of my realm of possibility, man.
In 1977, Polanski was arrested and charged with drugging and raping a 13-year-old girl. Early life. Oh, there
Is that his religion? Is that what you're telling me?
No, it's not a religion. I think it's one of those things where it's a dual religion and ethnicity. It's one of those wombo combos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still confused at how this early life thing works out.
Oh, you don't know about the early life history meme?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's every single time. Every single time.
Okay, well, you'll have to catch me up about on that one.
Yeah, we'll chat in the green room.
Okay. But yeah, a number of people who texted me were also worried about the incident, an embarrassing moment involving two prominent black celebrities would sully black people more generally. Black people are conditioned to believe that we deserve respect, admiration, and recognition of our humanity based only on good behavior. What? But Smith's overreaction does not reflect on anyone but him, and the suggestion that our community should feel any measure of collective shame is completely misguided. Nor should we feed into the dehumanizing stereotype that Smith's conduct is typical for black people. Well, first of all, good behavior should be what you are like at least given respect for. And second of all, they're saying that their community shouldn't feel any collective measure of shame for what any of them do. What if a lot of them do it, and then a lot of them cover it up and make excuses for it like they're doing here now, and then at the same time, they make up wild accusations of white privilege that don't even apply statistically to the groups that they're pinning that or projecting that upon, honestly, like white people. And should they feed into the dehumanizing stereotype that it's typical for black people? Well, once again, the statistics prove otherwise, at least relative to other groups. So there is going to be a chasm when you observe that mentality. And you not only do you see it happening, but you see the whole community as a whole advocating for it and defending it.
Yeah, like all those videos where a white guy's fighting a black guy, and then all of a sudden, the minute the white guy beats the black guy up a little bit, all of his friends jump in and start fucking gang beating him. How many times do I have to see that before I'm like, okay, there's definitely a trend going on here. You know what I mean? There's a trend where you guys are okay ganging up with your side when you're losing. You're okay ganging up with your side when it benefits you. But, you know, you don't see the white guys jumping in to save the white guy when he's getting knocked out by the black guy. Right. And that's kind of like, to me, it's a kind of a metaphor to what's going on here. It's like, you can't criticize black people. And when you do, they're all going to gang up and they're all going to be like, well, this is about our race, you know, or something like that. But then white men, we're all on our own. Right.
It's literally two black, like a black guy slapping another black guy too. So they can't even help but to pin this on white people when it was two of their own.
Yeah, it's always
it's that schizophrenic that they have to do that.
Everything is always our fault.
Right, and you wonder why we're sick of it.
Yeah.
But what can you do about it, you know? Anyways, let's see what people are saying in the chat. I think we've been going on for a while. It's about time to wrap it up. We've done 2.5 hours. People in the chat, Andy, no, don't go into that scrum. You're gonna get milkshaked again. You're gonna be another victim of anti-Asian hate. And no, it's not gonna be from a white guy like this.
Antifa comes at Andy No with a milkshake. He's like, wait, stop. Don't you know I'm gay and Asian? They look at him and then they just throw it anyways.
Yeah. Sorry, Andy, no. I'm gonna have to say an Andy yes on that one. An Andy yes to that milkshake. I'm gonna drink the milkshake off of Andy No's. I'm just dunking on Andy. So Al Stern just gave a $10 donation. Really appreciate it, Al Stern. That's gonna help my legal fund when I inevitably get charged for some bullshit thing, like I rubbed my balls by accident against like a peace officer of some sort. I don't know.
Yo, we got Black Guy Bigot in the YouTube chat. He says you can't criticize black women. And I feel like Black Guy Bigot would know because he's black. So, you know, it's in the name, Black Guy Bigot.
You can't criticize black women. I don't know if he's saying like, yo, you better stay away from our precious women, or
our queens.
If he's just saying literally, you cannot, like, trust me, you will get the 5-finger treatment. And
absolutely, dude, I don't know if you've ever dealt with one of those sassy black women who like you can't tell anything to, but I have, and like there reaches a point where like they won't even let you talk. They'll just talk over you the entire time and you can't even get a word in. You know, it's just like they're like screaming over you all the time, and they're loud. I don't know what it is with those black women. They got loud voices, so they're just like talking right over me, and they're not even listening to a fucking word I say. They won't let me get a point in edgewise. They're just,
you've seen their academics, man. They are nuts. Those critical race theorist black women, like, y'all don't understand that white people need to die.
Yeah,
they get away with it, man. I think if I got into an argument with a black academic woman, I think that I would soon find out that my hair is actually just a weave, and I didn't know it yet because it's coming right out. It's coming right out. I'm getting dragged, you know. I find myself in a Walmart brawl soon enough. But anyways, Al Stern's super chat says, "You have a way with words that I'm too high to comprehend right now. Cheers for the stream. I'm on autopilot from here on out." Well, I'm glad that I soothed your edible high right now, and that I'm helping you coast on into the next world of transcendence. Thank you,
Al Stern, man. Al Stern is always here with the donos and the super chats.
He's the top supporter. He's keeping Edgy D in business.
Oh, Black Guy Bigot with another one. He says the white man, in parentheses, society, lets black women do whatever she wants, and that's 100% true, man.
Right. Well, I think maybe black men do have a bit higher of testosterone these days, and that's what they need to deal with these black women who have high testosterone themselves, it seems.
Well, I've noticed a trend, at least on social media. It seems like a lot of black men are not interested in black women, and then the black women are like seething about it on Twitter.
Right. And you see some of the chunkers that they go after on our side, like, That's really must be a slap into the face to these black women. Bigger slap in the face than fucking Chris Rock got. Like, just seeing some of these chunkers that these dreadlocked black guys go for, and black woman's like, y'all don't want this shit, and fucking y'all gonna fuck Becky like that? And at least Becky's not screaming like that, so yeah, he's going to fuck that, because you guys look the same. It's just she's preferable because she keeps her fucking mouth shut.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Cameron Gervais says Candace Owens is a keeper, though. And you know what? I've always thought that. I say Candace Owens looks like a sexy alien, and I wanna reverse UFO kidnap her and probe her. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you all for. Black Guy Megan is like, take her, bud. All right, thank you. I will. You know, see, Edgy D, we're very liberal here. We do approve of race mixing in the right situations. You know, how are you gonna call me a bigot? Well, I think bigot is a badge of honor, so I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, we all have our own bigotries, right? Our own personal bigotries, and that's.
I hate fucking A&W, bro. I can't. I'm a bigot against.
You fucking bigot. You shut your mouth. That is hate speech. To the gulags with you. Anyways, I think we're gonna play us off on a final song, and I really like this musician. You could call him. His name is Little B, and he wrote an awesome song about white men. And I unironically love Lil B. He was one of my inspirations to be like an alternative comedian, an alternative rapper in some sense. So I want to leave you guys with a banger by Little B. And this is the bass god. The guy who literally invented the word based. I was using the word based before I knew it had anything to do with the right wing. So Lil B, the bass god, his song White Man. I'm going to finish off this show by playing that, and thank you all for coming out. Hopefully, if you guys are not in jail and I'm not in jail, we'll be back next Tuesday night sometime around 9. We'll go for, I guess, 2 to 3 hours like we usually do. And we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, shouts out to everyone. Peace, guys.
All right.
White man taught me how to charge a bitch fast. White man taught me how to break a bitch, you know what I'm saying? You know, we keep it 100, man. You know what I'm saying? In America, man, we tear down these hoes. White man taught me everything. You know what I'm saying? Don't blame it on me. Blame white man, you know what I'm saying? Little B, hey.
Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. White bitch in Castro Valley wanna cash me out. Damn near almost knocked that faggot bitch out. Dump a bitch in the trunk with the speed bumps. Bitch tryna play games, you a fucking punk. Lil Wayne said these hoes ain't loyal though. So I'ma charge a bitch that I fucking know. Put your face in the wall, but I swear to God, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Call the go out like set it off, I'ma shoot them all. Bitch telling on me that's a death wish. Knock the bitch out like Chris Brown. Bitch trying to act tough, she gon' sit down. Captain save a hoe, wanna save a hoe. Charging fake bitches everywhere I go. I'ma tell you like this, I'm too rich to pimp. My last name Mac, I'ma charge a bitch. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Bitch tryna meet me over Instagram. I'ma knock the bitch out with my fucking hands. Bitch, I know Lil B, do you understand? Damn near 50 grand just to watch me dance. Got the bitch in Atlanta like Tropicana. Came straight through the roof like fucking Santa. White bitch Taylor Swift better suck a dick, cause I'ma charge that bitch till I get rich. I'm a broke young nigga, that's Forella. Trailer park trash nigga with a 4-wheeler. I wanna be fake, but I can't be. Wanna be the bass, got a little beat. Thugged out, pissed off with the crisscross. I know bitch mob, I know Lil Boss. Young bass guy with that white bitch. White man taught me these hoes ain't shit. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, right? Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. White man taught me these hoes ain't shit. White man taught me go charge a bitch. White man taught me how to break a bitch. White man taught me better pay tax. White man taught me to go serve crack. White man taught me to go kill a nigga. White man taught me to lie about religion. White man taught me really keep it pimping. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out. Slap a bitch, slap a bitch, slap a bitch right. Knock a bitch, knock a bitch, knock a bitch out.